Call this meeting to order. Stewart City Council, Stewart Municipal Utilities Joint Meeting, Council Chambers, tentative agenda, Thursday, July 24th, 2025, 5:30 p.m. At this time, I'll do roll call. Russell?
Here.
Dolly?
Here.
Morgan? Kirkpatrick? Cobba?
Here.
Utilities roll call: Sherman, Horton, Crawford, Belden, Avey here.
And Kim asked me if we'd go ahead and move number 7 to the first on the agenda, and then we'll put 2 down where 7 is. So I'll need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll move that.
Moved.
Second.
Second. How do you vote? Russell?
Yes.
Dolly?
Yes.
Cobba?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sherman, Horton, Crawford, Belden, Avey, yes.
Okay, we'll start off with Utility Chairman Avey, Electric Pole, and Paige Williams.
Come on up, Paige.
Yeah.
All right, you guys have to bear with me.
That's fine.
I'm here today, some of you, to talk about electric poles. Electric pole that we've been talking about for over 10 months. But before we get down that road, a backstory of sorts. When I was a kid, I used to stop by the Morrison Chevrolet building to see my grandfather, Wayne Miller, or Peanut as he was called by many. My grandfather would lovingly buy me a soda and a bag of peanuts once he tired of my questions, and lovingly put me on a chair in front of the TV that reran Chevrolet commercials over and over to occupy me before I finally walked home. My grandfather worked in that building for 40 plus years before retiring. My dad worked there when he was just out of high school. The people that worked there: Harry and Hank Morrison, Lenore Mao, Ed Shaw, Friday Belgard, Roy Joves, Mel Hopp, Lloyd Waddell, and several others who have forgotten were the bedrock owners and employees of a Chevrolet dealership that was an essential business at the time. All these people mattered. This business mattered to this town. It was an employer, and it was everything to the community. The history of all this is probably what compelled me to purchase the building from Jerry and Connie. It didn't come without hiccups, as Jerry thought he had it sold when I first inquired about it. A sale that dragged on for over a year. I was under the assumption it sold. When Jerry called me over a year later, I didn't hesitate to tell him I was still interested. My reasons for my interest that never faltered were the memories of my grandfather and those that worked there that had an impact on me, and the chance to turn the building into something more than it would be. It was continually rented by people with no skin in the game. I had no real plan as to what I was going to do with it, but I knew someone had to step up and get the building under ownership that could take it to the next level. A building that sits in the middle of town that needed a lot of love, a lot of patience, and a lot of capital. So the deal was done, and after several decades of ownership, Jerry and Connie sold the building to me, and here we are. During the sale process, I was aware that the city of Stewart and Coon Valley Co-op had requested that Jerry give them permission to sign some paperwork allowing them to place utility lines through the property. I told Jerry as part of our agreement not to sign anything or give anyone permission to do anything, as I didn't want to adversely affect anything that I wanted to do, because I honestly had no plan. He agreed to let them know I was purchasing the property and did not give permission to any of them to do anything. Within a short time of purchasing the property, I was made aware of a boring rig on my property. I drove to Stewart in front of the company that was boring. I asked them what they were doing, and they responded to me by telling me they were boring lines in for the city of Stewart and Coon Valley Co-op. Told them to stop, which they did at the time. Told them to remove their equipment and not come back. I then received a phone call from Jim Nelson from Coon Valley Co-op inquiring about boring on my property. And I asked him what his agreement was with me, full well knowing that I had not signed anything or give anyone permission to do anything. During that conversation, I asked him who gave him permission to bore on my property, and I was told the city of Stewart Utility Department. At that point, I told him to stay off the property, not granting an easement for anything. I immediately called my attorney for review of the title opinion, zeroing in on all recorded easements, and what we found was an easement for Northwestern Bell in 1964, and one for a gas easement by Mid-America. There was not an easement for the power pole that the city installed several years ago that sits in the parking lot. The very pole that they were boring the conduit lines to from neighboring businesses. After the first initial meeting, I then caught the boring machine on my property not one, but two more times, and each time I asked them to leave, and each time I asked them, who told them to come back, and I was told the city. Shortly after these incidents, I started the rehab of the building, which included the total gut of the building, new interior and exterior. There was a time when on the weekend that we were ahead of schedule and we removed all the conduit on the outside of the building and housed all the electrical to the building. The building had two electrical services, it had a three-phase and a single-phase electrical supply. We eliminated the three-phase into a single-phase service on the back of the building so not to complicate the exterior and the look of the building. We completed the single-phase service, and admittedly the box we routed to wasn't quite right. We knew that. We had an electrician coming the next week to help on that. But at that point, we were back operational electricity, so we could continue to work. Sometime during the next week, our meter was pulled off the building with no phone call and no one stopping by to talk to me. Strike one for a small city, no communication, and decided to backhandedly sneak over and pull me. We were out there to work with, of course, no phone. I came to find out the meter was pulled by the utility department and it was done without a permit and deemed unsafe. I think it's important to understand that all the work I've ever done on my own stuff in this community, I don't think I've ever pulled any type of permit, and I apparently failed to notice that Stewart had become big and had a new set of rules. No work, no permit, no work. So other than the initial shock of being shut down, we regrouped and worked out the genset so we could continue. At that point, my electrician filed a permit with the state to do the power on the exterior service, and when we got our permit, we asked the utility department where they'd like the meter to be set. They showed us, we put it right where they wanted it. The state showed up because of the permit, we failed the inspection because the meter location did not meet code. So to me, this creates an issue. I find it particularly disturbing that the utility department apparently doesn't know the code. My electrician asked them where they wanted it. We did it. We got shot down, and I turned around and paid another $1,800 to move it again to make the state happy. In the meantime, this triggered another problem when we modified the north wall to have 3 overhead doors. I received a phone call from Jason. I know everybody here knows Jason. Jason, is an appropriate name for this person who is straight out of a nightmare on Elm Street. Clearly, on a power trip, he proceeded to tell me everything I'd done incorrectly, no permit, no demo permit, and the list went on and on. When challenged on what he was saying, he doubled down and told me he tied me up for months on this and then told me I had to have an architect submit a professional set of drawings for what I was doing. A man unhinged, abusing his power. After that, the building was red tagged for the work. I then called the company that forged stones because Jason was a part of that company. We got a different inspector, explained to him what I was doing, and told him we were removing the floor in the building and did the red tag include the floor. I was told no and given permission to proceed on that part of it, which we did. When Tiny taught Jason found out we were working again, he called me, berating me and threatening me of what he was going to do to me and the fines he was going to impose. I calmly told him the work that I was doing was outside his work stoppage, and I then given permission to proceed. His tantrum, of course, continued. And it was then that I confronted him about the need for professional plans and his desire to tie me up for months. He defended his position, which in the end turned out to be total BS. What Tiny taught ended up being was a liar of the vilest kind. The lies and the barriers he tried to erect would have a normal person spending a ton of money to try to finish a project, all based on mistruths due to an overinflated ego and the thirst for power. For me, that was strength too. I did my homework, found out I did not need professional plans, but a simple study from a structural engineer for the door openings, which I got, and it was what I thought it would be. 0 modifications were needed, and then I was clear to proceed. I did prior to this obtain the necessary permits that I needed for the city. In light of the Tiny Tot tantrum, as it was on my radar now, and the desire to follow the rules. I can also say that the fellow I worked with after Tiny Tot was super professional and it was a pleasure to work with and responsive and guided me on what he wanted me to do to satisfy the situation. This man was what this town used to be. While doing this project, the pole that was placed in the parking lot of my property without an easement years ago prompted me to attend a utility meeting to ask that you relocate it to a different spot, constantly in the way, not just the pole, but the guy wires around. I came to this meeting in a non-adversarial role to have a conversation about what could be done. Everyone listened, everyone was respectful. After the meeting, I was in touch a couple of times with Forrest and Steve Gray over there to discuss what could be done. In the meantime, news came to the city that the new owners of the True Value Hardware store were abandoning the idea to put a store in town. I had, up to this point, decided to use the building as a spot for my ever-growing car collection. In this hearing, this news quickly realized that this is the only building downtown of this size that could house the hardware store. It was then that my intentions and wants for the building took a back seat to what the community I grew up in needed. I was fortunate that a friend of mine owned 2 Ace Hardware stores in Des Moines. And he put me into contact with the correct people to begin to explore the necessary steps to head in the new direction. After contacting Ace and submitting to them all the financial information and all the documents that they required, I was approved to put a store in town. At that point, Ace mobilized around me and sent corporate people out to measure the store and begin store layouts, all of which I had to pay for. I hired my friend as a consultant since he was an Ace dealer already and could help modify the layout drawings as to what he felt was really needed in a community of this size. In addition to this, I moved a man that grew up in this community back from Kalamazoo, Michigan to be the store director and to help development of this store in January of this year. I had him join my organization at my company. I've paid him ever since then to be a part of this, and we continued this journey. We both spent several days in San Antonio, Texas in March of this year to start the integration process of being a new dealer and dealer training. At this point, an unexpected development has come our way. The new administration in the United States began to announce tariffs, and tariffs that would have a huge impact on hardware stores, said 60 to 70% of a hardware store is made in China. Why is this important? I'll tell you. Tariffs at one point were reportedly north of 135% on the very nation that most of this comes from. The tariffs take effect. That takes a wholesale item that you purchase for $1 ends up costing 135% more. Initial cost projections to outfit a store were $1.2 million, and more than half of that in inventory, so basically another $600,000 to $700,000 to do the store, pushing cost projections $1.8 million above because of tariffs. If the tariffs kicked in and the expected margins of the store that were set, it would guarantee failure because of the tariffs. Now, I didn't come to the city to be my partner on this venture, didn't ask for TIF money, even though I was encouraged to apply and take it. I live and die by my own sword. So the decision was made by me to idle this until political clarity comes. By the way, it still hasn't. Why am I telling you all this? I'll tell you. Many have said that this was all smoke and mirrors, that I wasn't going to do it anyway. I'll tell you. If that's the case, then my actions clearly contradict what they say. Thousands of dollars down the drain, not TIF, my money. Now let's get to strike 3 and back where I began. Let's talk about coal. Got a letter from the city utility department declining to move coal. They did say that they would revisit it if things change going forward. I'm left asking what needs to change to go forward. What comes to my mind is this. The pole is on my property illegally. No matter how long it's been there, it doesn't really matter. With no easement like the other utilities have. The utility department would rather find a way to grandfather this onto my property than have to do something about it. The head of the utilities giving the go-ahead to bore on my property, which is clearly illegal without an easement. Number 3, does anybody see the double standard here? It's okay for the utility department to punish me and take my meter and shut me down for something I've done, but yet place conduit through my property illegally, and then simply act like it's no big deal. Since when is the mindset that I can do whatever I want with no accountability come into play when it pertains to the city? Through this journey and with the hassle it's been, I'm left wondering how the utility department has zero oversight, reports basically only to the board with no day-to-day accountability. No one pushing from the sidelines to do the right thing. A head of this department needs to have the ability to look into the future, not just into how much longer until retirement. This department needs real men back, the likes of Bill Gillum, Doug Christensen, and flanked by the likes of Gary Wolf and Chuck Smith. Men that get stuff done, men that made it right, men that didn't circulate from city office to city office, pestering others that actually get stuff done. Leadership. Leadership to the north side of town, of Stewart, bury the power lines with the people that we have. They did it, why can't we do it? Plans in the head that aren't plans on paper, and no plans at all. Baptist right through, the letter. My response, I'm done. After 10 months of talking about a poll, I can no longer feel good about spending well over $1 million in a community that can't even get a poll. What happens when it's something bigger, 2 years, 5 years down the road? No thanks. To put it in perspective, I built a 48-unit condominium complex in less time than we've been talking about a stupid effing poll. Ridiculous. 10 months. To the town, what matters is the things they need. What they don't need are people getting roadblocked. They need people that get it done. The town deserves more than this culmination of mess. The town needs to look at who they hire to represent them and what their approach is. People can't be allowed back like this. In closing, do you remember when we were all growing up and we always heard the old timers, we thought we're old timers then, and now we're the old timers. What they should have done to get companies like Cardinal Glass and the other ones that got away, due to the short-sightedness of people involved with the plan. Well, we can add this one to that storyline. The people involved that have made this decision should see themselves out the door and out of their positions as they currently have zero vision and are willing to worry about dollar spent instead of integrity. I'm here to tell you tonight that I'm replaceable in this venture and that I'm not upset. Honestly, I could care less at this point. And no matter what I spent getting to this point, I view it as a chance.
Thank you, Paige.
Thank you.
And I wanna ask anybody on the council and the utility board go in and see Paige's building. I've been in there numerous times. He toured me around from the start of his project to where he's at now. I had interest in there, but I said, my hands are tied. I'm not a utility person. I don't have a vote on the council. But I've said to the management of the utilities, that pole out there leans at an angle. The guide wire needs straightened up. It's just a fiasco mess back there. We're gonna bore all the underground anyway. I said, that needs to be changed. I had Brad Wells ask me, how come I still have wires next to my house? 7 years now.
Yep.
Nothing's been done.
And why? Can anybody tell me why? Can anybody tell me why there's no plan? Can anybody tell me why there's no men in this community to get the job done? Now you tell me. A plan in the head is not plan on paper. And you know what? Everybody's tired of you. Most of the people on this entire thing are tired of you. They just won't say it to you. Why? Because it's not politically correct. People are tired of you. You need to get your ass up out of your chair, out of your office, and actually get something done that benefits this city. You're running people off. You have effectively taken an Ace Hardware store out of town. You know, somebody's gonna replace them, that's okay. But do you realize it was you? Do you? What's your plan?
What plan are
You got no plan, brother.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I can tell you what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a guy that does stuff against the law. Are you gonna deny that you asked them to bore on my property?
I did not ask them.
Really, how did it get done? With city material? City conduit? How did it get done?
They were boring for us.
Correct.
They asked.
Who oversees that? Is that you? Are you head of utilities? Yes or no?
I am.
Then you need to, you're the overseer. You're responsible, but yet you have the balls to take a meter off of my building while you're doing illegal stuff yourself.
Would anybody like to see pictures of the meter we took off that was already?
Hey, I told you the box was wrong. I admitted it right here, didn't I? Didn't I?
Why would somebody tamper with a box and put it on there?
Tamper with the box. What do you mean tamper with the box? We just eliminated 2 services into 1. Don't turn this around on me. I admitted what I did. Straight up, I'm admitting it. You got a man right here that won't even admit what he did. Is this who we want running this department? Right here? Is this it? I think that the chair needs to make a motion to remove this person as the head of the utility department. And take the utility department and have some oversight day to day by a man that's got more common sense than he.
I would like to check into this more.
We've talked about this. We've all talked about this. I've talked to you about this.
No,
100 million times.
about what you're saying that he's not doing and
Oh my
that
God,
stuff.
it's the truth. I'm not here to lie. I'm not here to
I'm not
embarrass
saying
myself.
you are.
Admit it. So that they know that this is the truth. Admit it that you authorized them to bore on my property illegally.
I did not.
Really? So where'd you think that the lines were gonna come from?
I thought-
Where did you
I
think
thought
that the-
they had permission to be on
Oh,
your
no, so you're the
property.
head of the utility department. You check, recheck, you check anything?
They told me they were gonna do it.
Oh,
because
no, no,
they
no,
had
no.
permission.
It's your business to follow up. You're the head of the city utility. Your lines are being on my property. Where's the easements for the city of Stewart utilities? Where are they at? You didn't have an easement to sign. Either did I, because it didn't exist. You goddamn well knew that you had no easement on my property. And now you,
But I'm not the one that told them to do it. They asked us if we would go with them.
is there anybody listening to this line of shit?
It was their project.
I don't give a shit whose project it was. Was it the
Don't,
city's?
don't
hey,
cuss, Paige.
yeah.
You can talk, but don't be
Yeah.
Was
cussing.
it the city's project to put conduit under my property?
But it was, Coon Valley's.
It's
project.
your property going under my property. Your power line's going under my property. My easement isn't with Coon Valley, it's with a power line. It's you. It's also with Coon Valley, correct?
We did in a meeting when Jim Nelson came,
Hell, I don't know.
we did ask him when he bored if we, would it be okay, and it was anywhere, if we needed to do conduit, we asked him if we could do our conduit as he bored.
Correct. And to do a conduit, to do separate services, you have to have 2 easements. You have to have Coon Valley, and you have to have the city of Stewart.
Okay. I don't know any
Now,
of
why
that,
don't we
so.
know this? We spend all this money on lawyers, we spend money on trying to find a way to get away from pulling a power pole that's been there. We spend money on trying to find a way to grandfather it in, instead of doing the right thing. No, we just added the problem. Hell, let's just create a little more problem. Let's just add to the stuff that's already there.
Can,
First of all, none of this matters. You wanna know why it doesn't matter? 'Cause I don't give a shit. I don't care what happens over there. I'm not gonna bring a store to town and spend my capital in this town. But what you need to do is you need to rein people in. You need to do stuff right. You need to do it out of integrity and respect. And not the way it's been done.
can I check into some things that you said? And can you and I and Ash,
No. I'm out. I'm sorry.
And Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
I would like to, kind of piggyback on what you said, I stopped up,
Yeah.
Brian and I
Yeah.
stopped up when you were doing the construction, and kind of listened to what he was doing, and I'd heard the rumors, that a hardware store was I was giddy, especially after listening to one across the street. And then to hear that, this is the only reason it's not here, I can only concur, it's like, what's going on, Why can't we do the right thing? And I'm under the impression, that the buck stops at a certain place, so.
It does in the private sector, because I tell you what, if this had happened within my company, and I've got 22 people that work for me, they'd already been gone a long time ago.
Yeah.
How
So-
can I erect a 48-unit condominium complex in less time than we've talked about this goddamn pole? How?
But my question was, what it cost our city guys to change all that or sub it out, what the difference is. We got our own boring machine, to move that pole,
When
to
I
hook up
asked
services.
about that, Pat, you said that they could do some of the boring or some of the work, and then there was some work they could not do.
We could use some of the boring. But we'd have to have a place to put it.
Oh, wait, no.
Because the one building.
Now I gotta come back
What?
because I've talked to the lawyer and I talked to
Forest.
Floors,
Told him, look, we can't simply put a box where the pole's at. Right there was where a triple stack of, pallet racking was gonna be for all outdoor products. You can't put something like that on top of there. If it doesn't go there, you can't have elderly people rolling up in this parking lot with guy wires and a pole and everything else. We're gonna have something laying in the parking lot. You can't resurface a parking lot without getting rid of this. You can't take all of that out, put all the concrete in and make it look right without getting rid of it. You know, this is all bullshit. This is all smoke and mirrors. What this is a city department that simply doesn't wanna do the right thing. What they need to do is they need to get their ass out there and they need to bore. They need to get the north side of town done. Instead of having plans in our head, it needs to be on paper. It needs to be real. It needs to be reality. 7 years later. If they could do it, they could do it. You know, Bill Gillen, Doug Christensen, Gary Wolf, Chuck Smith, those were my men. Because they did their job to get it done without government finance.
and the only difference is the south side and north side, you gotta have a certified electrician. But I said, we can use that revolving loan fund and give them 2-3 years to pay back to have a certified electrician go ahead and change the panels. I mean, I think that looks terrible out there, all those businesses, and we've got a lot of people like Brad Wells saying, why do I have that line in my yard for 7 years now?
But
Hasn't
why
been
are we
changed.
putting up with excuses? We can spend money on a lawyer,
Yeah,
we can spend money on engineers, but hey, how about, let's just dig a hole, let's set a pole, and let's restring the lines. I gave them that option, take it back to my other property line, nobody gives a shit, just get it out of there. Let's make it simple. Can't do simple, we gotta get everybody involved, we gotta spend a little bit more money, the
Yeah.
taxpayer money, to make everybody feel good. They didn't do that back then, they used common sense, they just went and did it.
so I think the utility board needs to come up with a plan and let the citizens know when these lines are gonna be buried and what can be done,
And we have been discussing that.
you know.
Let me just do that. Dave, are there corners of that lot that are conducive to move that pole to, or
Brother,
we?
I've been over this.
We,
Yeah,
we
guys
have
have
already
talked.
talked about that.
Yeah.
I've talked
Forrest
about it with
and
lawyers,
them-
I've talked about it with Forrest, and
Yes.
nobody can get on the same page for whatever reason.
That was one of
I
the
mean-
things was to move it in that, and
I know, but how simple is it to set a pole?
No, I know.
Restring the wire, who cares?
so what was the at the meeting that night when they said about putting it here, what was the
If
deal?
it's a distance requirement. of
On that.
feet, make it taller, come down, who cares?
Pat, what corner could that fit on?
It doesn't matter.
Where could that be moved to on the property?
When,
Everything has to go north.
Yeah.
when we talked about putting it on the end of his property, what was said, why we could not do that?
Forrest specifically said it's at too tight of an angle against the existing buildings, right? Against Tierney's building? We
Yeah,
can't go to that
there's-
northwest corner.
Right, then it makes it almost impossible to get it all the way around the Tierney's field.
So what, where could it go on that property? It can't go any further to the east, it can't go to the east line?
And all of them maintain these pretty soon to get services to customers.
Right,
no, I understand what you're saying. I mean, there would have.
If he's got,
there would
if
have
this
to
is in
be
the
a-
middle and he wants it on the corner, then
we'd have to plant some poles on the north side of all, on the north side of Page's property.
so there'd be more than one.
There would be more than one.
And then we need access.
I agree with you, I mean, to me, that's something we should look at, we should pursue, and I'd like to see if you'd be willing to, you know, have Paige and Pat sit and discuss that, and go through the,
Well, this is the first we heard about what needs to sit on that spot. I mean, we have no time to work with them and as far as why that pole, because that's why they looked at burying it in the wall.
but the vault was not going to be in the spot, it's, the vault that Forrest proposed was not going to be in the, spot, it was gonna be in the lot or something. Couldn't
Right,
carry a certain
but-
amount of weight.
We would need to see his plan to see where it goes.
Right.
I mean, we never got anything like that.
Well, what he just talked about
He
was
just
putting
put
that
the
pole in a less obstructed area, right? And you said you wanted to do that above.
Obstructed to him.
I think, I mean, he said he wouldn't do an Ace Hardware, but I think if you went and moved that pole, you know, possibly him or somebody else could come in.
He's
I mean,
gonna wait till the see
Ti-
what goes on with the
tariff.
tariffs.
But I know he
Makes
said the
sense,
pole
doesn't it?
blocked the access to get in with his overhead doors.
So I'd like to make a motion to refer this to Ash and have him reach out to Paige and see if he and Pat can sit and find a location that is conducive. If it results in 2 poles, then that's because it spans, I don't know, this isn't my area.
So some of the drawings that Forrest did for us, I think it would take more than two, would probably.
But you guys have to figure that out. That's
Yeah.
not, I don't know those things.
Have Forrest
I'm just saying,
involved.
he's right in the aspect of 10-month history. There's been some back and forth exchanges and we haven't resolved it. So, you know, that's all I ask.
Well, I think, what if that blows up though? And like, he seems pretty unwilling to move forward.
He does, he's upset.
But
He's got
either-
reasons to be
And either way though, something needs to be done with that property.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Right.
even if he
Pole
doesn't
itself is
meet,
still trespassing, correct?
That's what I agree. I don't think anybody here should be saying, well, we need this from him, this from him. That's putting the onus back on him. That's his property. We should have been figuring out,
But just
you
for-
know,
just for
and
clarity,
moving
but
forward.
Just for clarity, the reason we got Forrest involved was because of the boring and the engineering side, or excuse me, the vault side, right? It was going to involve a lot more work than just, there's a lot of things running off of that. It's not just a, you know, it's like the Clark Griswold plug-in thing, right? That just continued to cabbage onto the thing.
It's not just electricity.
That's what I'm saying. So it's not like it's-
communication wires.
Yeah,
And it's also a matter that it's been there so long that it's like, it actually kind of makes its own easement because it's adverse possession.
Yeah, but I don't agree with
Well,
ever,
Yeah, I mean,
trespassing on
let's
the
do the big government thing and say, we're gonna take your property.
I think we need more input from him. If it can't go on where he wants to put it, how can we figure out where else we can do anything without some kind of a plan of what we're gonna do on this lot?
That's why, to me, you have.
So we have
Ash
Forrest
and
involved.
Pat
I
and
will- I
Jim,
will
if you wouldn't mind being
Forrest.
in
Yes,
Yeah,
I will meet with the chairman, Kim, and Pat, and Dustin.
And
I will
Paige.
found, and Page, of course, I will found a solution,
Okay.
you know, because that's what we need now, is a solution.
and we have given 2 or 3 solutions, or
Absolutely.
ideas of how to do it, and it was no.
We're just told no.
Okay.
So anyway,
Your motion is just to refer it to me and the chairman, and we'll find a solution.
and to reach out to Paige to.
We will reach out to
And
the
then if we
chairman,
can put this on the August agenda
yes,
and see if we can do it.
yes. Good.
So before we move on, I want clarity on the north side. What's our plans?
We're discussing that in our meetings. You
Okay.
can come to our meetings and listen to us, cause we have been discussing that.
Okay.
Okay.
Deciding, mayor, to give you a ballpark, I think Jared, is it Jared, is that his name? Jared. Yeah, you're talking, if you hired 100% of it out, I think his number is 700,000 or 800,000. That's not bad. So if you hired 100% out, we didn't get any further than that because it was part of the discussion with the substation. The substation was the basis for what he was here for. We asked him to size that. I totally agree. There should be a 135. Totally agree.
Yeah,
And-
and
and
I
we've
would like
been-
to see the cost sub it out or do it in phases with our own guys doing it.
And we have been talking about that in our meetings.
Okay.
Kim, there's a motion by Brian. Who need a second?
I'll second.
Okay, moved in second, how do you vote?
Sherman. Horton. Crawford. Belden. A.V. yes.
Okay, we'll move on.
Okay, now it's done. Now we'll go to 3, cause we're gonna have 2 down.
We're gonna get Forrest on the phone.
Okay, he's on the phone.
This is Forrest.
Hi, Forrest. How are you?
Hi, Forrest.
Okay,
Hi,
Forrest?
Forrest. So we're on,
Hello?
certified
Can
site
he hear
plan.
us? I don't think he can hear us.
Oh, we had you muted. Oh, no,
How'd you discuss it?
I think he gave up on us.
Hi, Forrest?
Okay, I'm back.
Okay,
Hi,
go
Forrest.
ahead. Go ahead, man.
Okay, now, Forrest, we're on A, certified site plan evaluation agreement for services.
Okay.
Do you have input on that?
So on the certified site plan for services, the utility board, passed the motion to approve those services. And at the council meeting, it failed on a 2-2 vote, and I think maybe there was some interest from the council to revisit that.
Yes?
Okay.
Quick plug for this. The only reason that, I'm dogmatic on this particular issue, only in one area, behind the commons, because that's the only territory we have left to expand. If you look at what Van Meter's done with their certified site, they put one together 7 to 10 years ago, and they had to recertify. We finally got a data center. It's going to be upwards of several $1 million. Besides that, but a valuation. So our town's valuation is 100-ish million. 98. So you're gonna have a data center 2 to 3 times that if you could get one. And these certified sites are very marketable for these things. And you look at the money, and where the money's coming internationally is to invest in these things. And so that's my hope, is if we could get a data center in here that would have such high valuation and be a heavy user, that we could turn the table with the substation costs that's staring at us at $7 to $10 million. You turn the table and you get them to help pay for that. There's SIPCO helping with that contribution. And so we don't spend 7 to 10 million, we spend a fraction of that, and so we don't have a rate impact to our citizens. So that's my bias. We can't look at anything else, anywhere else, because we don't have any territory. So that's the matter.
Hey, Brian,
Yeah,
quick question.
so-
When you say territory, you mean strictly Sturt Utilities, right?
Stewart Utilities
Not going into
territory.
REC,
If
so,
someone says
I mean,
should
we
go
got,
look here, should go look
there's
there,
other
we can't do
property out there, but
that.
it would just be to bring it into Sturt Utilities,
So
so,
this is,
It
Yeah.
wouldn't make sense for us to invest in something
That's going into
benefits
REC.
utilities.
Right.
Right.
At least
No.
not at the same scale. If you added to that,
Right.
you probably wouldn't put it at the same scale.
Sure,
so the
sure.
power usage of this particular, something like this is, what, 7 to 10, I mean, it's a,
It would be the same as what the entire town uses.
yeah, so depending on the data center size, it is at least a double of what our consumption is. And so whatever data center, whatever substation we're looking at, could be a lot different type of discussion. And so that's why,
And
that
also-
particular area,
On the news today, they brought this up, and they're saying that there's a lot going up, and they're top notch, number one, trying to get them all up. I mean, they're wanting to put them up. So,
so again, it's just to turn the table with the discussion of substation costs. We don't have to pass that cost to our citizens, but yet one large consumer would have to have that power usage provided to them at a CIPCO level or even larger. So, and I don't know if you had more numbers on those, more specifics.
Brian,
Just-
did you ever talk to Citgo
I did,
about
I did.
their sharing costs? Because I asked them and I never got a reply.
The guy called me, I I can't remember his name, I think his name's Terry.
Very fat.
Yeah, it was very nice, and I just wanted to know, because there was one that's supposed to go over named Derek.
Right.
And so then there was this, he said, she said, drama fest over whatever happened there, I don't know. But that went away. And so I wanted to understand if they could put that together or not, if they serviced it. And they said if they would play ball, it's a capacity, how much do you need? You know, basically, you're not gonna build an 8-lane highway for 10 cars a day, right? So they need to know if they're gonna have 8,000 cars a day or 8 cars a day from a developer to a, power provider. And I don't understand all the technicalities of that, but he was very articulate and was more than willing to work.
And they already have half a dozen of them on their system.
Gotcha. So if
They,
they're there.
they know the
Yeah.
ins and outs of it.
Yeah,
So if they could get in and help us with this, that would be great.
yeah, and that's, so again, you gotta put the site together, and then the state pays a portion of this, they have experts, you know, the gal, I don't know if she's come to your meetings or not. She's a firecracker, she's really good.
She's been at the council.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
she's
gave a
fantastic.
presentation.
She knows her stuff, and, anyway, so I'm excited about that.
And I think, you know, for the city to revisit it, you know, at the meeting, we had just voted to spend a lot of the future growth, you know, designating that for one spot. And we were asked to pay 1/3 of this, $6,800, $2,200. And, you know, the scope of the project is, you know, listed right there. It's not really, binding us into a whole lot of money. And we said, no, it's not the right time, but when is gonna be the right time, you know, to possibly bring this growth to the city? You know, if you have this, it's easier to do, you know? Maybe you get a data center, I would love to see that. But if you don't, maybe you have other businesses that will go in there also. So then you don't have to go back to the same people and claw into their pockets, you know, to take money out of that. You have a business in here to support that. So that's why I would hope my fellow council people would see the value in participating and coming together with the utilities to be a part of this project instead of sitting on the sidelines and not helping them out, so.
Another thing I'd like to bring up, and the board cares more about this than the council, but talk to the engineering. On the south substation, we have barely enough room, enough capacity for a data center. If we did have a data center, they would take away the rest of that capacity, and we have almost none here on this one substation. So that's one thing we would have to look at.
You mean like space-wise?
No, I
Or
mean,
just capacity-wise?
capacity
yeah,
on
like-
kilowatts.
Right, they'd have to put, there would be a separate substation for
Well,
it.
we'd have to spend the money, this, substation for millions of dollars.
Mhm.
Even the transformer for a substation is a year out just to get one. So those are just a few of the little things that we can look at.
So, you know, we're being asked to participate in the $6,800, $2,200, whatever that is, 1/3 of the costs. Now, I remember when they came in here, they talked about that. The whole certification, this is just see what's feasible, what's it gonna cost in the future to certify this and do all the work, correct?
Yeah, so 6,800, Forrest, you'll have to get more specifics here, but 6,800 is like what he's calling the first phase of getting it certified. The total cost has a range of 40,000 to 100,000.
Exactly.
So that's to make note, be
So-
clear on that.
We're looking at, hey, let's throw $2,200 right now. 2-3 months down the road, Forrest comes back and says, well, we did that, $80,000 is your bill to make this feasible for anybody.
I don't want to be.
Neither side of us have that money.
No, I don't want to mislead on any of that. That's the total, it takes a year to do this. This is the first phase for, what all does this include for us?
This first phase is just for visiting with property owners, making sure that the property owners are on board with this program. We need to have those discussions. It is putting together a pre-application with IEDA, with them just saying that this is the property and here's our interest, and then it's putting some maps together for that application and for the city, so that everybody kind of understands the limits of where we're looking at. And that's about it. It's just the first step at looking at this, and If that first step is looking like this is still promising, then I would come back and report to the council and to the utility board and say, here's the results of the first step, and recommend to take the second step. And or maybe not. Maybe we come back and after this first step and we say, you know what, this is not going to go anywhere. It's not going to go any further, and we stop right now. This is just the first step to know, is this a feasible site or not?
Sure.
So don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm all for the city growing. Our city's been growing the past 10 years that I've been here. I love to see that, and I think it's great. Personally, I think right now is not a great time for that. I mean, just the past few months, we've all been sitting up here, both sides. We've got this expense, you know, unknown with the government. And we're all freaking out about that. But here we're like, hey, let's look into that, spend $50,000, $100,000 for a pot at the end of the rainbow that may or may not ever happen.
That worked for Ben Meter pretty well. I mean,
Right, and it's.
Someone
I
had to
look-
recertify 7-10 years. Their property sat there. We're putting an investment in that we don't know what's going to do anything with it. No one's had any interest. Where does that go?
that's, I guess, to me.
And I'm looking at our list right here, and we're going to have future discussions, and there's probably going to be a lot of pushback on some of these things in the future, the rest of this meeting, to spend a couple $1,000s to do something here or there, but yet we're willing to sit here and to spend probably tens of thousands of dollars without batting an eye for something that may or may not ever happen. That's where I'm getting at. I think we're pushing ourselves and spending more and more money right now, where we need to push back, pull the reins back, and say, you know what, maybe we need to be a little bit more fiscally responsible for the next 2 to 3 years until some of this TIF is paid off, until we can look at having more cash available to do things. And then, yes, by all means, let's revisit these conversations, and let's look at what we can do to continue growing Stewart. That's my 2 cents.
Chip, how long does like, if we were to go through for this process, this first phase takes a year. What about the second phase, which we're talking 60, 80,000 or whatever, would you say, 40 to 80, 40 to 100, whatever it might be. How long would that take? Because, I mean, we all know that we are, at least the city side, we have a kind of a 3-year tight window potentially. What is the time frame on that? Like, I love the idea of getting ahead of the game a little bit, right? Getting this going, but what's our time frame on that?
Here's the thing, I view this as, so when I was first on the city council, the ethanol plant came to town. You wanna know how we reacted? Had no experience, had no idea about any of this stuff, right? We all sat here, it was pretty new council, and we, were encouraged to embargo the road, close the road, like that's gonna really do anything, okay? So we did that, and then we came back and said, we'll take a little bit of money, 20% of the total cost to fix the road. Instead, we should have been more strategic and gone out there and annexed the ethanol plant and walked it all the way back along the road on a volunteer basis, and it would have worked. And when someone says it doesn't, they're wrong. Go up to Iowa Falls, it's the same developer, and they're 2 miles outside of town, they're annexed. And I don't, what is that thing worth? I can't remember what the tax bill is. Is it 700 million or some crazy number like that?
It's not that high,
No.
but it's significant.
So, long story short, it would have more than maintained the road and all of that stuff. We weren't strategic at that point. So to me, this is hindsight. We should have probably done this site selection. I've known utility board a few years. I wish we would have done this then, a long time ago. Because whoever put the water line in first, I think it was probably Bill Gillen, mention that name, put in the water line to Rose Acres. That's our largest customer. That's strategic. And that's why I guess, to me, that's how I view this site survey. If you look at the billions of dollars coming internationally to put these things in, AI's blowing up, we're all seeing it. This is, to me, we're 10 years behind where we should be. I don't know the range of this cost, I just didn't want you to think it's this one.
No, I know,
it's
that's,
not. It's a.
I know there's extra costs associated with that. And like I said,
Absolutely.
I don't think either side of the fence is in a financial place to do that. You know,
Yeah,
I think we need to
See, I think,
look at that.
Ash, I mean, are we doing pretty okay? One question, have our reserves for the sewer fund, electric fund, water fund, all of our reserves ever been higher than right now?
Yes,
Are they the highest they've ever been?
yes, financially we're doing good. I think the concern was when Chip brought up the state, what's state gonna do.
I totally get that
That's
on your
where
side, yeah.
the whole thing start to kinda get everybody concerned about.
Sure.
So
I
that's
get that.
the bottom
state is-
line too.
The state's completely unhinged.
Yes,
And
yes.
I guess on my end, we put off giving the employee raises. And to me, I don't think we can, I can't vote on this until we figure it
Well, it's on the agenda for tonight.
out. I understand, but
But it's
Um,
after
the
this.
last 2 or 3 months, that's exactly why we've been putting off, well, we got, we're worried about what's gonna happen in the future, we're running out of money. We haven't given raises, but yet we're, like you said, we're just ready to throw it in on something else.
I'm just asking, like, if we pay this money now, like this next phase, when we do have a considerable amount that we potentially will pay for the next phase, when are we gonna see that bill? Is it gonna be 1 year from now? Or
Well,
is
you
it gonna
don't-
be
you-
3
I-
years from now? 'Cause
You don't even see anything built necessarily.
yeah, I understand
You
that,
know?
but this next phase, we're like, when would that bill come? 'Cause if
Exactly.
it's after 3 years, we're in a totally different, and we've
Yeah.
gotten the ball
This
going.
process, from what he's explained, is it's an annual process, I think it'll take 6 to 12 months to put it all together. Those bills are not coming in 3 years, they'll come, he would be asked, periodically, whenever Forrest Gump presents updates, they meet, and then they ask for more information.
This is just to get the ball rolling, to
This
see if it's
initial phase where you just
even
go-
feasible. You know, it's kinda like when we approved the $700 for that CBD whatever grant, you know, we have to have a survey done. We don't even know if we're gonna qualify for it, but yet we spent a little bit of money to say, hey, maybe we can get this. It may be more, in line, we may qualify for it more than something like this. We don't know, but this is to get the ball rolling. And we can sit here and wait for 4 years, and now you're 4 years behind. And somebody else has got a data center over in Adair,
That's
you know? And then they're not gonna build anything out here.
Right.
Or in the meantime, even if you don't get a data center, you've got a certified plot that maybe some manufacturing comes in and plops $20 to $30 an hour jobs in there. But if we sit here and go, you know, I get that we're tight. We have ways to remedy that, you know, that we could
You
probably,
guys do
we could probably
completely have the
discuss.
state staring at you.
Yeah,
I know this.
we could
I
probably
totally
discuss in
agree.
real detail in January on some of the details. But, you know, having spoke with Chip and Ash and stuff on there, you know, yeah, there's some things that could happen, you know? But if we stick our head in the sand and say, no, we're not gonna do anything until we absolutely know, we're gonna be even farther behind than we are now. It's just a way to help pay for the stuff that we did at the last meeting. Maybe we wouldn't have to worry about raises if we did something like this and it come in, you know?
What are your thoughts, Ash?
Well, it's, you can look at it both ways. Yes, the future is unknown, we don't know. The present now is from the presentation that Chip and first trying to do is, like we did with that Region 12, we give $700 for just stamps on the envelopes. You know, yeah, it's a $700, but it will get us to the next step to apply for the grant. This will be the same, you know, we'll ask for 6,800 to be split 3 ways. So it's 2,200 or 2,100 in our part as a city, 2,100 on the utility. We can go by with it, you know, in order for us to get to the next phase, which is gonna happen next year. And he will have more idea about what's gonna happen. So my opinion is it's not a big expense. In the meantime, if we take it 3 ways, city and utility for 6,800, it can get that ball rolling. So,
And let's say everything works out, this first phase,
yes,
and it comes back, and we're not in the means to proceed to the second phase.
you would check, yeah.
We don't have to do
don't
it.
have
This
to
is
do
not
this.
obligating us to do it.
Yes.
But it gives us an idea that, yes, this is feasible.
Exactly.
I know you'd be throwing $2,200 kind of down the drain if you didn't proceed, but if you don't proceed, you're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And like I said,
We had
4
a
years
trial
from
on
now,
that.
they're building a data center in Adair or someplace.
So
Sorry.
considering the amount of dollar being asked, I don't think that's significant to stop the losses. And I understand what you're coming from, Russell. It just is the amount, the dollar amount is not significant, you know, in the meantime. Yeah, maybe next year, if we've been asked about 400, you know, we have issues, we can talk, you know. Go ahead.
Something that helps, just one thing that I think Matt might be getting to, this city and the utility side, various buckets of money. The water utility can be used for water, it's electric for electric, sewer for sewer, and so forth. The general fund of the city, the electric utility funds and water are in good shape. The TIF and the debt service funds are in good shape right now. That, depending on how the council, this really looks at your fiscal year 27 budget. There's a lot of time to think about this. The TIF and debt service funds are what's potentially gonna be spent out. They're at 1.1 million right now, as of June 30th. Those are the two pieces that are tight. The general fund is in good shape though, really, so.
That's it.
It's not an easy decision, but it's the
Yeah.
decision to do the development on the south side of the business park was not easy at one point.
Was Wombold easy to do at the beginning?
my
You,
God, no.
you took a risk and it paid off, you know? And we're splitting the risk 3 ways here. Instead of just, you know, instead of just saying, well, one department do it, you know, and we're not interested, you know? You're kind of divvying it up on us, so.
Matt, you got something real quick?
Just wanna add, once Forrest does the initial study, comes up with the cost, it doesn't mean that it has to be done now. Develop a plan, a 2-year plan to make the budget, okay? Our second year, or our third year, this is where we're going to start to steer some of our funds forward to finance or do this.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly, that could be something in our budget discussion.
Yes.
Coming up and say, well, you know,
Yeah.
let's say our part of the cost is 80,000, you know, just,
Yeah.
I'm just throwing stuff off, I'm not saying that, but you know, then you talk about that and put it in the budget.
Yes.
Is he asking for clarity on this timeline? I mean, does he have?
Forrest, still there?
Yes, Ash.
Yes,
Yes.
Can you hear Brian?
Does he know, are you able to?
It's a little harder to hear away from the mic.
Yes.
What's the timeline on this?
Timeline, how this works, I mean.
What, yeah.
The timeline can be as quick or as slow as the council and the utility board want. I mean, we fastest we could go is a year, and then we can drag it out for 2-3 years if the council and the utility board want to.
Yeah, so a year to 3 years.
TIF had paid down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go.
So, like I said, the dollar amount we're talking about now is not significant. It's okay comparing to what we got. And I'm not gonna repeat again that we are comfortable in the general fund, because I don't like to say that all the time because it will be taken away.
Okay. Matt, you got something real
One
quick?
other thing to add, the Trump administration today, they are fast tracking the data centers. So, Trump administration is currently behind it, and we have to make a push for it.
I have seen that too,
Yeah.
I've seen that.
We can either be one of the communities that are prepared to take that on, or not.
Okay.
Good, so all we're talking about now is that $6,800 split
Yeah.
3 ways. That's it, what we're talking right now.
Last time it was, what, 2-2 vote?
Yeah, last time the motion didn't carry.
So if anybody wants to make them up, oh, yeah, Brenda first. Oh, go ahead.
I just wanna say, I'm not against the certified site. The problem I have with it is I was one of the ones that worked with the one when we did it. I'm just kinda curious, has anybody contacted any data centers in Huntington? I've talked to several people this last week and they just roll their eyes when they hear, because everybody wants a data center. Mid-American has worked with 200 data centers last year and not one of them has materialized.
And it did, Seed
It
had
doesn't.
it in their meeting one time, right, and they denied it. We brought it up and said something to Matt, and he took it to the meeting, and they denied it. They did not go for it.
And I think a few years ago, didn't we have Marquita down?
Yes.
She was given a presentation on something else, and she brought up the certified sites. And I know Brian would like to have a data center. That's great, you know, that's just one option. But if you have a certified site, it makes the city more attractive to businesses that are looking for stuff, because you get all that preliminary stuff out of the way, all the surveys and all that. It doesn't have to be just a data center. You know, that would be great. But if something like that falls through, now you have a certified site for, like I said, maybe some manufacturing, I don't know, some making,
And I'm not against the certified sites, but Iowa has a certified site, there's 20 certified sites. Every state has their own different idea of certified sites. Greater Des Moines Partnership has a step under it that cost us nothing to, I have a site named there, and I have a site in Stewart that's on there. It's the step under that. I just feel like we really don't know what we want as a community. Everybody keeps saying a data center, but are we gonna get a data center? I mean, everybody wants a data center. I just feel we need more time to look into this and talk to people and try to figure out maybe what we want. I'd say go ahead and do that, $6,600 and get that out of the way, but I'm not sure it's worth the, people I'm talking to are saying it's $125,000 to get this, so.
And Seed isn't even approved yet?
If she had touched on, they wanna do more research on locations. They wanna get a little more information. But they are not on board to get this.
and that shouldn't be a deal killer, I don't think. You know, for the city and the utilities to have, as we heard earlier, some foresight and take the opportunity, you know, and when Brian was talking about, location or whatever, I can't remember the word, it wasn't location, but it was strictly to be able to get that revenue to the utilities for the power and the water. Instead of looking at something outside where RC's gonna do it. Yeah, we could build anywhere outside, but that was specific over here to see if we could do it over here to get that money to come back to the city for the utilities and the water.
Well, we would still have potential south of town for water.
Yeah, for water, yeah. You'd get both over here,
Right.
but you'd lose out on one,
But
south.
also, the cost, if they did add this site and a site on the south side, if that was part of this certified site, if I remember right, the cost is still the same.
Yeah, but I mean, for us, we have
So
no
if
vested
there's,
interest.
if there's another area we should include in this,
Yeah, it's just, I think, to me, let Forrest get going on this phase one, see how it goes. And Forrest, I'm assuming you'll come to meetings and provide us updates?
Yes, I can provide updates however often you want them.
Just to kind of get the process going to see, I mean, I don't know how this process works. If we can loop Brenda and Matt in as much as possible as well, and, if that lady, where does this lady from the state come in? She said that she contacts vendors for a portion of this process as well. Right?
Come up here and talk into that.
He don't hear you.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear Brian.
Can you ask me, I mean, just, the gal from the state said that there's a group of vendors or contractors that the state helps pay for a portion of this. What is that process?
I guess I wasn't following I heard Brian, but I wasn't following the question.
You can,
And Amy was the one that came and gave a presentation. But she had contractors? Is that what I heard Brian
I
ask?
thought so. Resources at the state that, the city doesn't have to pay for this process, and they're out.
Oh, yes, there is, yes. They've subcontracted out with, another company to help with a lot of the process. So that's not all, it's kind of a partnership where, the city slash utility is paying for a portion of it, and then a lot of the resources and a lot of the information is obtained from IEDA and from the sub-consultant that they have hired. That is correct.
Matt?
My viewpoint, information I've been reading today, and the state of Iowa has been behind this and are offering incentives for every driver that site. With the Trump administration now wanting to be a big driver in data centers, they're offering incentives. This could be, there could be a shift in mindset about the data centers. Some people are against it. But with the potential incentives, I'm not saying there's definitely gonna be incentives, but there is strong potential that some incentives will be coming down. And this would be an opportunity to be prepared. But honestly, it's still, everything's still at risk. So.
Right, and I think, thanks, Matt. I think sometimes we're getting hung up. I know Brian's, I like the data center thing, okay? But that's not our only option, right? It's an opportunity to have something ready, get all the preliminary stuff out of the way if a business wants to build there. You know, and it makes it easier for them to choose us over another area that they have to go to. If we get a data center, if it works out and it's great, you know, raises our value, you know, $500 million, okay, great. Get another business in there that manufactures and pays $40 to $50 an hour, great. I'm not opposed to that. This is just to get the ball rolling, get it looked at. Is it even feasible? We don't know yet. I mean, we could wait 3 years and then try to see if it's feasible, but.
You're stuck with only data centers. The properties listed, you have to entertain an offer. You should at least entertain whatever offers come your way. Another offer might come and it might be just as appealing, but you don't know unless you stick it out.
And to your point, you know, looking at maybe a different place, if it's all rolled into one, you know, cost, you, maybe we do that too, you know? That's just as feasible too, you know, to do that.
Well, if we ask him for a motion, he already said C's not willing to, so it's.
What's Seed's
he-
holdup?
So it'd be,
Anyone to research other locations?
so if you make a motion tonight, it's gonna be divided by 2 instead of 3.
That's-
We already
Yeah.
approved.
1/3.
We
Yeah,
approved
third.
our side, we approved to do this phase 1, and all ourselves, we were asking to try to split this 3 ways to see if there's joint interest. That wasn't what, that's it.
Right.
To me, I feel that, gal, Amy was, she loved that site. I'm sure she says that to a lot of folks, but interstate locations, something like that, to me, if we can save our citizens, 2/3 the cost of the substation, because we can quickly attract a data center.
Right.
To me, if we have to burden the cost ourselves of $100,000 to get a $200 million commercially valued data center with 50 jobs and doubles our power usage, I think that's probably pretty.
Would the utilities entertain a different location even if you're not gonna get the electric?
Yeah, it might be, I would have maybe a little different attitude about how much our participation might be.
When that
We're
time
looking at
comes,
just
but.
water. If we're looking at just water and not electric, I think
Entirely.
we'd have to look at it differently than we would if it fell totally within our utility.
They don't use water the way they used to. They're into a pool, right?
Depends on the company.
Yeah, so you're getting into a totally different financial dynamic. And so with the substation issue, that's to me, that's the only place for us to even have this conversation from the utilities.
So
The
if,
city side might be different.
so if Seed comes back and like, yeah, we have no interest in going behind McDonald's, we wanna go over here, that puts you out of the game.
I lose a ton of interest because we got other issues.
I mean, if we still had a chance at water, but we're not gonna participate, I wouldn't participate at the same level.
But it would still benefit the city, even
I-
if we're
I
over
agree.
here.
I agree, I'm
You
just
know.
talking about like, they already passed this
Right,
to do the cost sharing on this preliminary.
right.
I'm just saying, and if C comes back and yeah, we'll do a third, but we want it to go here, does that take away the original like motion? And is it?
Who said, are you the one that said that they can do more than one site? And there's
I was
a-
thinking
I
she
think you're
said.
right. I think
Right,
you're
and that,
We can have a site here and a site here and include that all in one site.
That might be possible. I don't.
I'm saying
I don't-
within that null and void, you guys already passed this to entertain. You just are wanting help.
they're just asking if we wanna be a partner with
Oh.
them, like we should have been,
My understanding is
for
that's-
more years than we have
We
been.
pass through the whole
Yeah.
thing and come back and ask for it, or just the space one.
Okay, Brenda?
Ask for participation, if you're gonna add other sites, that's another discussion.
So water really isn't an issue because there's three types of water centers. There's one that uses all the water, there's another type that recycles the water, and then there's the full site that is the other. So if you don't have the water, they say it's not an issue.
So,
But the bigger issue is we don't even have the electric capacity to entertain one. It would take a whole new data center, and that's multiple years out. Would they even consider Stewart as an option if they don't even have the power requirements there?
What Mid-American told me is that a large hospital takes 1 megawatt of electricity, a data center can take up to 5. So
Mhm.
just think about it.
Matt?
That goes back to why Brian mentioning this, data center or something of that magnitude would be basically paying for the infrastructure to get that power. Instead of paying you, because we have to update our infrastructure for power anyway. If we don't come up with something, then the cost is gonna be handed down to the residents. This is a strategic plan to shift the cost to somebody else and make it to Stewart for that jobs.
So we've had a lot of discussion. Does somebody wanna make a motion on it? Yeah, go ahead, Brenda. One
I
more.
was talking to Mid-American today, and she said that, before you can become certified, a certified site, there's two things, you have to have a certain amount of water and a certain amount of, electricity, and the electricity was 2.5 megawatts. You have to have that within 9 months, or could we do that?
We could not, because that would require a new transformer of a substation. And
I guess that's what
that's
I'm
a year
saying, is
out.
we need to, I feel we need to be doing a little bit more research before we jump in. I don't disagree with going ahead and having the phase one
The
for
first.
stuff like that. No disagree.
So that's the
that's,
purpose of
yeah,
this, they do the
Yeah, that's the
research
first,
to
find
But-
find out what the hurdles are, and then find out how to overcome those hurdles.
right,
Don't put money into the infrastructure, it's just a plan.
yeah.
Recognize your problems and how to address the problem.
Cause that, when Amy came, she never mentioned anything that we had to have a certain amount of electricity available. It's just, you're certifying the site and then, whoever comes in, you gotta see if you can get that, but not to certify it, so, on it.
I'll make a motion to pay 1/3 of this
Okay.
phase one.
I'll second.
Second, so how do you vote? Russell,
No.
Dolly?
Yes.
Cobal?
Yes.
We don't have to do it.
You don't have to, 'cause
No,
you
'cause
guys
we already
did.
voted on
You
it.
already did, okay. Well, thank you, everybody. Now, next one, erosion control, Wamble.
Sorry, one last
Oh,
question.
okay.
Can you ask him when this initial, how long this initial phase lasts for us? Can you hear us? How long does this initial phase one of this take?
This initial phase one is gonna take several months. A lot of it's gonna depend on the property owners that we're talking to and, what they're going to take for, information. So I would think it'd be several months.
Okay, thank you.
I also think if we can include other areas, great.
Yeah, if we need to
Yeah.
look at other areas too, yeah,
Increases the
if we
cost.
can, then,
Yeah,
Next Thursday, Debbie John's gonna be here, Thursday morning from 9 to 10:30. So anybody that would like to come and talk to her about, development stuff, please.
okay. Before we move on to the next, I got a question. I thought we were gonna have microphones for the utility board. Cause apparently this isn't working for Forest.
That Forest is through these little speakers that go to the phone.
Yeah, but if he's not hearing Brian, we're not set up to put microphones where Brian's at?
Forest, are you watching YouTube at all?
I am, yes.
Okay, are you able to hear the audio on YouTube?
I am. It's a little quieter with the utility board members, not as
that's right.
clear as with the council members, but I am able to hear the utility board members. I just have to listen a little closer.
Okay.
Okay. It's designed to have everybody, even from the audience, to be heard.
Okay.
We're testing everything tonight.
Can we
Okay.
move
Well,
these?
yeah,
Listen.
yeah.
Yeah,
Do we have more of these for these meetings?
we
Well,
can,
that's
yeah,
what I
we
asked.
can.
Can't we
We're
just-
testing, we're just
Right.
testing tonight everything, and it should, even if someone talk in the back, it should sound on the YouTube good. And we're gonna study that after we get done, we're gonna go and listen to it, and if we need more of those, we can get more,
Okay,
yes.
okay, next, erosion control, forest.
So as I talked to at the last council meeting, we were gonna have a final walkthrough of the project, and we did that last week. We had that with, Matt and with Jim Henderson and myself and the contractor, and John Schwinger, joined us as well. We walked the entire site. There were some minor things that needed to get, fixed, but picking up signs, so some pretty minor stuff. But one of the things that we did discover, and Cascade Erosion, they're the contractor that is looking at the erosion for the site, is way back in the northwest corner of the property off of where we're selling homes. This is in the future phase area. There is some erosion that's going on, kind of a steeper area going towards the north fence line. And the erosion control contractor, Cascade is their name, recommended that we put a couple rock check dams in there, just kind of put a span of rock to slow down the erosion, slow down the speed. And we think that would be a good idea to do because we don't know how long that property is going to sit there. It might go pretty quick, but it might be a number of years before we get to that next phase. And there is money in the budget. Chip can attest to this. I think he's there. This would be $5,000 to Cascade Erosion through Macknich to get those ditch checks in there. At the time, we were thinking it was going to be something like $8,000. When we actually ran the numbers, it was closer, or it was right around $5,000. So we'd recommend this work be done.
So, I do a motion on
Yes,
this then?
we need a motion.
And this would be council only.
Yes, right.
Right.
So-
We didn't account for this, like, when this whole project started, you know, and like, that wasn't any sort of the agreement with Macknich, where when we left that, after they did all the dirt work, that was part of it. We didn't foresee that.
We had this area graded out in the original plans this way. We just thought it was not steep enough. We thought it would stabilize by itself with the seeding, and it just, there's a lot of vegetation in there. But the consensus was, you know, kind of a belts and suspenders, let's put this in here so it doesn't get worse.
Jim, you have any idea on this?
Yes, we were out there.
Okay, does that sound
Yes,
like it?
it's definitely needed, and it will definitely serve the purpose of holding that soil from eroding.
Okay.
We
All
need
right.
a motion on the council.
I was just hoping there was some loophole that
That we don't have to.
we don't pick
that
up
they have to pay for it.
$5,000 and that was somewhere in there.
But at least the
Fine
fine
print.
budget for
Fine
it.
print.
Need a motion. Moved by Calvo.
I'll move.
I'll second it.
Second, how do you vote? Russell,
Yes.
Dolly,
Yes.
Kava.
Yes.
Okay, C, traffic study, and on this, Chief Reha's here, plus the next item on the stoplight camera, we might want his advice on stuff too. So are you heading this for us on the traffic study?
I guess I can start it off. How about that?
Okay,
Um,
thank you.
So there is some interest in looking at the potential of installing traffic signal lights at the two ramps off of Interstate 80 and also at the intersection to the north. That's would be the McDonald's intersection, and then the intersection to the south at Quick Start. We did some checking already, and the north ramps already meet warrants for traffic signals based off of some traffic counts that were done a couple years ago by the DOT. We went ahead and checked those, but this would be to actually go out there, do the traffic counts for vehicles in the morning, midday, and afternoons, do the traffic counts, do the study to see if they actually meet the warrants, and then to look at the, we have to work with the DOT to get traffic signals installed, and there'd be some caveats with this, as far as making sure the traffic lights were interconnected so that, they all acted as together rather than independently. So this is just the first step to show justification for getting funding and for getting permission to potentially put traffic lights at all 4 of those intersections.
With Travel America coming in, would that impact the traffic study? Would be enormous. I mean, a lot more traffic once they're in here. I mean,
it would. And so what we would do is we would talk to them as well for what their projected traffic is based off of their other sites, and we would include that projected traffic into the study.
okay.
Are we thinking, this would be for having 4 lights, not a study that says, oh, well, maybe only 2 are justified? Or is that
We're going to look at all 4. We don't know the answer. It may be that only 2 of them are justified and the other 2 are not. We don't know which ones will have enough traffic and enough turn movements to justify the signals. That's what the study would tell us. And even if the study says we can have them all at all 4, we have to do that.
Right.
So just for clarification, just a couple minutes ago, you said the north intersections already have the traffic count, and that's what the study looks at. So are we required to restudy that intersection when we already know it meets it? Is it out of date to where they would require a new one?
It's out of state. All that study was done before Quick Start opened up. So we're fairly confident that north ramp will, because of the Casey's, McDonald's, coming into town traffic. Mm-hmm. But the more traffic there is, the more warrants there is, the stronger our case with the DOT.
Is there a cost to this, Forrest? For
Yes.
the city?
Yes, there is.
I didn't.
It'd be nice if we could get
Oh, wow.
stuff done for free, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I sent that.
Yeah, I see it,
$4,000
$23,700.
Yeah. And that's for all 4 sections. If you want to just do the ramps and not the north and the south, then it's about round numbers. It's about a fourth for each intersection.
So what's the projected revenue on this? Because I'm assuming this would involve shared resources, like we looked at those cameras, the speed cameras years ago, before they banned them. So this would involve City Hall work or whatever, so what's the revenue possibility of it?
I know I talked to a lady at DeSoto, and in this last 6 months, they didn't start their traffic camera until January, because there's a grace period on when they just issue warnings or whatever. But I know that they essentially in 6 months' time, I want to say it was $186,000 in revenue to the city, and they were just over the moon about it because that helped fund it. All that money was allocated towards their emergency services, and it allowed them to get another full-time police officer. And
They weren't, they didn't have to hire one that's just for this, they hired it because revenue was there.
well, they were having a part-time officer, maybe Chief Rehawken. They were
yeah,
they were
I'll
doing
let
like
Dave
full-time, part-time, or something like that, and this allowed them to get a permanent, like, third officer with that, no issues or anything like that. And then I can't remember what else she said, but she said it was great, you know. And obviously they have a similar situation, except we have an overpass, they have an underpass.
Yeah, that's
I don't know how that would affect it, but
But, just to clarify, these aren't going in just for revenue. This is going for safety, because you have more traffic out there, at all those intersections and coming off the interstate. Okay, I don't want it just to be a revenue discussion,
I
you know.
respect that, but here's my opinion. I'm driving eastbound on this interstate last week, and there's all these volunteer firefighters dealing with this burnout car. And how much revenue did they get out of it? Probably next to zero, right? So my
Each
argument
person, you mean,
is I
or?
will gladly talk about how much time and how the risk that our volunteers take out on the interstate, our police,
Right.
EMS, and fire. So if we have to capture a little bit of revenue from this, I'll have
No, I
the
get
same
it.
discussion.
Yeah, I get it.
yeah.
But this stoplight, this is a stoplight thing.
Correct, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, red light.
So those deals.
It's not gonna, but it's, so it's not gonna sort of, our guys all lose.
No, I know, I get that, but at the same time, for the equipment costs, for the ongoing costs of whatever, if it goes to those services, that's something, because they're going out there risking. You go back to Bob Earhart's, you know,
Yeah.
that's real.
Yeah.
Chief Rehawk, could you talk about this, cause I visited with you this afternoon about it.
I mean, I'm willing to answer any questions you may have. I talked to DeSoto, Alice, who was the interim police chief a year ago, whatever. I think they, just hired a police chief, but I didn't know about this until just a couple days ago, so, I talked to him and just kinda got some basic information, so I mean, if you guys have any questions, I can answer them. I don't wanna get into the opinion side of things, but.
But at this point, you don't even have a computer that could handle the tickets in your
Well,
office.
I mean, obviously, there'd be some expense involved
Yeah.
in the camera system, but, the same company that we talked to about the speed cameras back, Brian, you were involved in that, a couple years ago, that's the same company that contracts with us, so.
Yeah, it's just Gatsby.
Yeah, Gatso. So they would, I would assume, again, I haven't talked to Gatso about that, but I would assume that they would provide the technology and stuff to do that. They did say, and again, this is just from a basic conversation, so, you know, I don't have the facts in hand, but, he said the majority of the violations are the right-hand turn, violations. So the way the camera works, there's a white line. If you cross that white line at a red light, it essentially takes a picture of your car. He said the majority of their violations are people turning into the gas stations. So if you can think of like the intersection on the south side of the interstate, if you were to turn right into Quick Start and Casey's, that's the majority of people are violating. They're not coming to a complete stop, they're just
Oh,
going through.
yeah.
So, I mean, I think one of the expenses they purchased was a fire truck. I think that was one of the things he mentioned, and then an officer. So I don't know the details, I don't know exactly how much they spent on what or where the money goes, all those things, but,
That's kind of a down the road thing if this even happens, you know,
sure.
so, but it's kinda like spending $2,200 on a site plan, you know, if we don't know if we can even do it.
But you're saying on an annualized basis, that's $400,000 of their share of that revenue. And so, which is a very good business case for what we would have up there. The traffic's probably similar, I'm speculating, but I mean, that's a, and if our city hall staff has interaction with this too, you know, on the utility side, I mean, something else to look at for rising costs.
I did have a quick question from Forrest about the stoplights. I don't know if it was just rumor, if it came up years ago, I can't remember, but wasn't there a talk about the ramps weren't long enough to support a traffic light at the top? Wasn't something they'd have to do to extend the ramps?
I'm not familiar with that discussion. Maybe Jim is, but I'm not.
I don't know. I just thought I'd overheard years ago that the ramps were too short to, like, there'd have to be some extensions to that.
'Cause-
That's what I got
Cause it-
from the DOT
Yeah.
quite a while ago.
Cause they could possibly back up on the interstate. A lot of the entrances and exits are a lot longer than what Stewart has.
And I'm not trying to say we don't need
Yeah.
them, anybody that drives through that area knows, we need something, we need some
Yeah.
sort of
And,
control
and
lights.
it could be we don't put them at the ramps. You know, you could have them at 8th Street and at Quick Start, you know, to do that, so. Yeah,
Okay, thanks, chief.
Thank you.
So it's up to council whether they wanna make a motion
I'm gonna make that
to
motion.
do the study. You made the motion,
Yep.
Mike? Okay, do we have a second?
Where would we, what fund would this come from, Ash?
That I have to start.
Oh, Jim?
Just keep in mind that, there's a lot of infrastructure that goes with those traffic lights. There is, you know, power supply, there's cabinets that run the controls and all of that, and then there's the maintenance on top of that. It'll have to be figured out along with this.
So it seems like we don't have a good plan even put together about what this would even take before we even spend money to study if it's even possible.
Well, last time the camera company said everything they put in, they maintain.
Well, that was all self-contained, basically. Well, here, we're talking we need infrastructure set up.
And that's for the traffic lights.
Yeah.
But
And we don't even know if our ramps will support them.
Wouldn't that be Florida doing a study? We would need to look at all that?
Yes, we would look at that. We would give you what the costs would be, you know, do the intersections meet the warrants? And if they do, here would be how much it would cost to put the traffic lights up, and here are some potential funding sources for that. The DOT does have traffic safety funds that will contribute towards the cost of signals if the warrants are met. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So my question is, before we even decide to do this, if there truly is an issue with the length of our on and off ramps, do we look into that first before we decide to move forward and spend money? Get an answer before we spend money that says, can we even physically do this?
that's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, they should be able to say,
Yeah, Forrest, will you be
500
able
foot
to do
ramp
it?
is too short. Don't even move forward without redesigning your ramps.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a good point. Forrest, will you be able to find out about that?
Yes, we can reach out to the DOT and have that conversation.
Horace, were you involved in the one in DeSoto?
No, we were not.
I think what Craig's saying too is, you said that you can be fourth. So if we find out that you can't even do a traffic light on the on-off ramps, we wouldn't pay for half of that. Correct?
What I'm saying is, if right now if you decide that you don't want to look at the ramps, or you don't want to look at the intersection by Quick Start, the fee would drop by whatever many intersections you take out. I'm not saying that if we do all the work and we do all the traffic studies for all 4 intersections and the warrants don't pan out for one of the intersections, that, you know, we still did the work to come up with the answer, so that there would still be, we'd still expect payment for the work that we did finding that answer out.
But, so who would we have to find out if I mean, I feel like that's like a phone call to figure out if you can even have them on the on and off ramps.
Yeah, so if that is, if the council wants to get that decided, table this until your next council meeting in August,
Yeah,
and I'll get that answer for you for that August meeting.
I guess that's a good idea.
Well, wait,
Can we get
wait,
one-
can I amend my motion
Yes.
to proceed with this contingent upon finding out if we have them for the on and off ramps? Then if he makes a phone call, says no, then we can still move forward on the other 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. I don't wanna pay half this money on,
So it's contingent.
Yeah.
We do all 4 contingent on if the ramps can support
traffic.
the cameras, the length of the ramp, whatever it is, however you wanna word that.
Yes.
And if they don't, we still can move forward, and then we're not waiting a month.
Did you catch that, Forrest?
Yes, I did. So if the ramps are long enough, we do all four. If the ramps are not, we just do the McDonald's and the Quick Start intersections.
Correct.
Okay.
I would ask Ash, I mean, can we get an idea of where this budget's gonna come from and what that looks like to it and the impact of it before we even make a motion?
Yeah, we can, yeah,
I mean, we're close to August if we wanna wait.
yeah. We're
Exactly, it's only,
close to August.
2
only
weeks.
a couple of weeks, yeah.
Let Forrest get his information.
Yes.
Have Ash
Would you
get
tell
his.
us if we couldn't afford that? Could you tell us tonight if we couldn't afford it?
Tonight, yes, we have good results.
So
I'm
in
not
2
gonna deny
weeks,
that, yes.
in 3 weeks, are we gonna be depleted?
No, no.
I
The
hope
answer is
not.
no, but I'm just asked to be specific where we're gonna get the money.
Sure.
I have to look it up. Obviously,
Okay.
it's gonna be the general, but I can't give you that answer tonight.
Can't give that specific answer,
Yes.
but we should be okay to do it,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So
we
there would
have
be no
reserve.
need to not make the motion, we're just waiting on where we're gonna get the money. The specific
Yes,
area.
specific money, where specifically you're gonna get it, I would say general fund, you know, because I have to look at other funds, see.
Sure, I
if
get
it's
it.
a both.
I understand that.
I'm gonna be more in
I
details.
know what you
I
mean.
wanna find out if the road use can support that, because sometimes I cannot get it.
Sure,
It's not allowed. I don't have now time to go back and
Right.
search. You see what I mean?
right.
So
But we
there's
have the
so many-
ability to do it,
What's that?
we have the funds to do it.
Yes.
We just don't know specifically where.
Yeah, exactly, and
Okay.
that's what I've been asked specifically,
Okay.
so I don't know.
I got that. So I'm still making that motion that it's contingent on that, so.
Okay, motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, second, so, how do you vote, Russell?
no,
Dolly?
Yes.
Cobba?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
So, just a question on the utility side, the last time you guys went after Gatso with these speed cameras, there's a sharing, so this is me from the utility side lobbying, and we would like a chip of that 400 for the utility side, because we're gonna be sharing city people, so is there any interest in the utility bill side to share the cost of some of this stuff? If it were to move forward, is it just a question?
That's nice.
Because it was, what was that last share, do you remember
It's
when we had
like
those cameras, it was like 85-15?
85-15, yeah, that's it.
Yes.
What's that?
Chip has
85-15.
85-15.
So, I'm asking, I guess, is this too early, because this is all traffic, this wouldn't be city hall-based stuff? I'm asking you probably.
Yes,
You,
yes.
what? Yes, bro.
The answer is yes.
So even right now,
Which-
you think we're gonna be
I would like to see the utility share, yes.
So we
Is-
can bring it up in our next meeting.
Next meeting.
it's on the agenda, we can
Yeah.
vote on it now.
Oh.
I'm just
Okay.
asking.
Yes.
So what share, what is that percentage?
Is it okay, like, is there any, I don't know all the regulations on what, something like that, I'm assuming it's the same as the traffic speed cameras,
Yeah.
on where you can allocate that and what that funds need to go to.
I'm talking, this is on the expense side.
It's the same?
You guys would,
I believe so, I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
and that's all, we get asked this on the speed camera side, and you guys work with us on that, that's the only reason I was bringing it up, if this is a cost sharing thing, you guys will have employees in both, so what, I mean, what do you recommend for a
I would
cost?
recommend to share the percentage up to the,
Are you saying stay
Well,
with
I'm just
that?
saying that there's gonna be costs for this study, I don't know what they are, I
yes,
guess I didn't see.
twenty-three
but-
thousand.
Okay, so what's the
That's another
percent?
4,000.
I mean, if
Well,
our
the-
staff is in that as well, it's joint work, share revenue, share expenses, right? That's all. Put that on the cameras for whatever it was. So, you leave it the same? 85-15 or what?
Yeah, that's good,
Okay, I'll make that.
okay.
That's just you to vote.
Okay, how you vote, Sherman? Horton? Crawford, Belden?
Yeah.
Avy? Yeah.
I'm gonna take a 5-minute break.
Oh, thank goodness.
Sarah and Ash, do you need me for anything else?
No, thank you.
Thanks, Forrest.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, boss.
Thank you.
Next line item, we're gonna spend another $4,000 to do it.
I just needed to sign.
assisted me.
Mayor, do we need to stay in the middle of the road?
What? Well, let me look. Well, I mean,
I was looking down below.
you got the stoplight camera there. Well, it was traffic study, but we haven't actually done it.
Same thing, I guess, I know, we got the wages to look, so.
Yeah, you got wages.
I forgot we moved the.
Yeah, I moved the wages. Yeah, I know. I'd rather be that than not.
I know. So that took care of that one too, right? The stoplight camera?
Well,
No,
I mean,
that's an agreement,
agreeing.
a professional agreement.
I mean, Brian wanted to quit, but I said, you still got wages and stuff. And the irrigation. Oh,
Because when we're gonna have
we're not even doing this one then, cause he isn't here. We'll table that.
This is our chick to do financial stuff for us. What is that?
So you're gonna table that one.
That irrigation one?
Yeah, cause Corey isn't here.
Grievance litigation.
Ash.
It does.
Figured from that angle, you still probably got it.
I still got it. I can still see it flash.
Okay, resume. 4, financial advisor Chip Schultz on stoplight camera agreement for services.
So I'll state to the council, if you're ready for me to start work on this from a financial modeling and planning standpoint, I defer to you if you're at that point, or if you wanna just table this, so very much up to you, how you wish to proceed.
What kind of information do you need from us to start this?
Start to work on estimates for revenue, start to work on how the revenue might be used, start to look, what will this mean for additional, duties from police, that sort of thing, so. I'll be honest, it might be too early to.
I was gonna say it might be way early for that.
You did that on the last,
I did.
Right, yeah. I mean, if we waited a couple months to, or whatever,
So we.
just to see, I mean, well, it's gotta be 3 of us or something,
Yeah.
cause I'm not the boss, so.
So,
But
do you
thank
wanna
you.
just table this, council?
I don't know how long it's gonna take for
Forced to get his stuff
Forrest to
done,
give
yeah.
us information.
It could be,
but that'd be
who knows?
advantageous.
We'll
For you.
table it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, thanks, Chip.
4B,
So
the long-term
bound
finance.
handout that's, I'll really try to keep this brief. So the bound handout is the material that was emailed yesterday. The page right behind the cover that's, portrait oriented. That review, so this is a layout of what the impacted levies are or what drives city tip revenues. Column C is what the city's levy picture was 5 years ago in fiscal year 2021. You look at the city's levy at that point was $16.49 in row 9, the blue shading. The total levies for all political subdivisions is in row 15, roughly $40.50. Row 22 is the city's debt levy at that point in time, 39 cents per thousand. Your net levy for TIP is in row 26, generating TIF revenue, that is perfect. So look at row 29, please. That's, and I kept the TIF valuation the same in row 28 for all these scenarios. TIF revenues in that levy approach is roughly $2.2 million. Your actual levies for the most recently completed fiscal years in column D, if you carry that same, that row 26 levy amount, that's $5.50 less, row 26. That means in row 29, you've got roughly $350,000 less TIF revenue with the current levy picture, most recent levy picture of the city. Column E is your current year levy structure. For all of these are actuals, including cities, $13.47, row 9. City's debt levy in row 22 is $3.81. That includes the insurance borrowing. Your net levy for TIF in row 26, $30.80. You're at $1,974,000 in annual TIF revenue in row 29. What I'm wondering is what's contemplated for a future approach to levies. That's would be in row F, column F, excuse me. If the city is at $15.50 for its total levy, if the city increases the debt levy, this assumes there's a debt levy, a debt issue for an operating budget borrowing, maybe some equipment for various city departments. This is just hypothetical, but if that were to go, this is really strange, but if that goes to $6, that gets deducted from the TIF calculation. Your net levy for TIF in row 29 goes to $28.69. Your TIF revenues that are $1,835,000, you know, 400,000 ish or so less than column C. So this is trying to compare the various approaches to your levy. This gets meaningful when you look at your fiscal year 26, 27 budget levy, how you structure the levy. Column G is a preferred approach, if you're so willing. Up to the council, of course, how you proceed. That reflects adjusting the levy to $16.50 in row 9. I reviewed the impact of those at the July 14th meeting. This assumes you bump up the debt levy to 4.25 per 381. Your net levy for TIF in row 26 is $31.40. Annual TIF revenue is about $2,011,000 in row 29. So if you carry on to the next page, this assumes exhibit 2 assumes the column F approach to levies. On the prior page, carries that forward, is noted in the top right, the net TIF levy of $8.69. This takes your 1,000,001, the top center of the page, that we had mentioned earlier and also talked about on July 14th. That gets applied in column I. You have only about 55,600 at the bottom center of the page of that 1.1 million with this levy approach. It basically spends all of that down. It's gone. That to me is not an ideal situation. So exhibit 3 is another approach, uses the same levy for the TIF, $28.69. And then it also includes an application of and this is just a hypothetical, but $1 per thousand debt levy in column K in the green shading with the right center. And that helps, you don't have to spend as much down of that 1.1 million at the top center of the page. That remains at let's round that, 349,350,000. That dollar debt levy is 98,255 per year. All of this relates to just through the June 30, 2029 fiscal year. So this is another approach to it. Instead of $1 for operating budget dollars, which I know you're considering with the police department at the recent meeting, this has $1 for a debt levy paid general obligation debt service. So it's really just laid out for options as you look at and start thinking about your fiscal year 27 budget. And I'll just leave it at that.
I was gonna say, I appreciate you doing the work as always. And again, these are just scenarios. We've had other scenarios with some different options rolled in there too. in the past that we could still look at. We'll probably do that, run in January, so, but food for thought, so, to.
And I'd encourage you to start looking at it later this year.
And I know the council, so hopefully the rest of the council would agree that we do need to look at it sooner, Ash, because I know we
Yeah.
talked about it, you know.
December.
I think we talked about it in November at one point, just going back from my
Same time
memory.
as you do your tip certification.
Yeah, kind of look at it, go over a bunch of different scenarios, because I know there's some stuff that was in some of these prior things that wasn't included in here that could help us out. So, but yeah.
Sounds good.
So,
Sounds like a plan.
I mean, do you guys think we need to make a motion to start looking at it in November? Would that help? Because then that's going to, I don't know, memorialize it, so we just don't sit here and say, well, we need to, and then we forget, or it doesn't get brought up.
I agree with that.
Yeah, we've talked about that for years.
So
Talking
let's
about
do
it
it.
sooner. So if it takes a motion to do it,
Is
let's
that,
do it.
can we make a motion now? Should that be put on the next agenda to make the motion? That we
Make a motion now.
Can we do, okay, I'll make a motion that we start reviewing this, scenarios that Chip has brought when we look at our TIF certification in November.
Would that be a good enough?
Sure. I can have a rough draft of it ready for your August meeting.
Wow,
See, I just,
that's
it's
soon,
just like,
that's sooner than later.
yeah, I mean, we can take a look at it, but then we could meet really formally maybe later on, you know, and kind of do that. That way, we're not just throwing stuff, because I know you got people calling you all the time and hounding you, find a way to do this, find a way to do that, and it's like,
Moved by Colin.
well, it's just not fair to the guy, you know?
Second.
Second,
Second, how do you vote? Russell?
yes.
Dolly?
Yes.
Kavah?
Yes.
Thanks, Chip.
Thank you, Chip.
The only thing, Chip,
Yeah.
we talked about having a loan for the lease, the bulk tank or something. You still working on
The
same?
chief's working on
Okay,
the
all right,
listing of equipment.
that's it. You got, I got the answer. Thank you, sir.
Okay, number 5, resolution number 2516C, setting a date for public hearing, that'd be August 11th, so I need a motion.
I'll move that.
Moved by Kavah,
Second,
second by Russell, how do you vote? Russell?
yes.
Dolly?
Yes.
Kavah?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank
This
you.
is just the addition to pay off the loan, the short-term debt. The notice talks about a levy impact. There's not proposed to be levy impact. Assuming we can get all this worked out to be paid for by TIF, we're required by law to show levy impact with new legislation we have to track. One other question, this doesn't really apply for action tonight, we're just looking ahead at a future meeting. If we track with that timeline that I handed out on July 14th, is the council able to do a special late August meeting to approve the official statement for the long-term financing?
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
That's August 25th, that's your typical fourth Monday. Is that acceptable for folks?
Time?
I
Check
said
my calendar.
August 21st.
25th.
Fifth, okay, August 25th, 5:30.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Chip.
Thanks, Chip.
Okay, 6,
It was done.
we're gonna table it, cause, what?
Actually retired some utility debt early from the city, or owed the city. We paid off some debt from the city, from utilities to the city.
Yeah, you have a good idea.
Part of that discussion,
Yes.
we would consider that.
Yeah, you and I have talked about that, and if you wanna visit it, that's good.
That's up to, everybody else, or that's for you to lead on, I guess.
Okay, and we can talk about it more in our utility meeting.
That's fine.
Because that's utility decision.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, okay. 6 table, we go
Okay.
to,
Go.
7 is the employee wages.
Okay, and I just wanna mention that I did put from the Stewart Herald that the school board, when a person gets so high in wages, $100,000 like the principals, they did a flat increase of $2,000 to each principal. Cause you do 4% raise of $100,000, that's their thinking on that. Plus, on the raises for the employees, we've already had the utilities have their raises. And then the swimming pool has already been approved.
We haven't done ours. We've only done union.
Yeah, I'm saying the union guys have, so
Yeah.
you got 4 people that's already got raises, you got 33 lifeguards that already got raises plus, because they got compensated above the 4%.
Yeah, the reason that I was hesitant with that was for two things. One, the state issues that you guys had, and how you're dealing with health insurance, but then the overall health insurance discussion. If you look at the second column, that's $20,000 per employee, and how that's looked at on a yearly basis. And how that's factored in and used. So we've not had any discussions since that. And that's why I voted to, table this until now.
Well, I consider 4% for utility side and city side, for all the employees.
And they said he had that in the budget, and in 14, the city had 4%, then 4% different years, 3.5, 7, in 17. The lowest was in 2020 is 1%. And then 21 was 2%, 22 was 4%, 23 was 4%, 24 was 4% raised. But what I don't like is we've already got the union guys negotiated for their wages. We got the swimming pool. And to me, I went in, talked to an employee today, and he had all this paperwork on his desk, and I said, well, if you're not getting a raise, why do you do your work like you are? It's like, well, you get kicked. You're not doing a good enough job, which I think all the employees are. And ICE says we have it in the budget for raises.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
When we vote for the 4%, is that the same for part-time employees too?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Close up.
Nadine and Alan
And
are
Alan.
hourly, and it's 4%.
Most places, part-time isn't, the raises aren't the same.
Yeah.
Our part-time is built on part-time.
And-
Like one of our part-time people is, their wages are higher than one of our full-time people.
Cause it depends on the time they've been here.
Right, but one's part-time and one's full-time.
Yeah.
But then that cost doesn't include any of that health insurance, right? Part-time doesn't.
They get no, part-time gets no vacation, no sick leave, no
And no health
benefits.
I know, that's what I do now, I'm part-time like that too. I grab the raises. Of course, nobody did, but I don't get the same raises full-time.
Because it does make a big difference on a 4% if you're earning 50 plus thousand, if you're earning $100,000. And that's the reason I just brought that up about the school board, what they did with all their principals.
I recommend this year,
Flat dollar amount is what you're saying?
what's
Yeah,
that?
once they hit a certain threshold, he's saying
Threshold.
they do a flat increase bonus.
And
If you
at
will.
the school, you guys are steps, right?
Depends on the year.
Depend, yeah. And a lot of
A lot of
times,
years we don't
Don't.
get steps,
Yeah.
yeah, it's all negotiated.
but if you're there so many years, you get up so high up, you don't get hardly anything. I know that for a fact, for my wife's wages.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes into wages, cause like you said, Mr. Mayor, you walk into somebody's office and they've got a stack of paper on their desk, and then you go over to somebody else's and they have nothing on their desk, and maybe they're not doing the same amount of work, maybe this person's doing a little extra, but everybody's getting the same 4%. How do you justify that, and this is, I get where everybody's coming from, but it's hard to discuss it on the same night that you wanna make a decision on doing wages, on, are we gonna step it, what are we gonna do, That has to be a discussion done well before that, and really thought out. I know, and to Aisha's consternation, I've talked about employee reviews, and stuff like that, to try to help the council come to grips with that.
Have we
Yeah.
done, like, that, does Ash get a review from you? 'Cause I
No.
never did that. I think we should do that, we should do that, we should have it.
We've brought it up
I
before
brought it up,
and it gets knocked down every time.
Well, that's up to us to do, I mean, I have a couple things I would like to address at a point like that, but how do we ever do it? We can't expect them to do certain things if we don't have
No.
some kind of a plan for it.
Right.
And
No,
I
I
says
agree.
whatever's decided is retroactive from whenever the raises
That's on
should
the
be.
raise
But
part,
that's fine,
but like,
yeah.
he's had reviews with all the employees, like Sarah and
Yeah.
Ashley and Pat.
Yes.
We haven't had that review with him. That's my,
Well, I brought that up to a utility board meeting, and I think
Yes.
the council brought it.
Yes.
Utility board can decide.
I'm all for, I would like for us to,
And it's not,
we could move on with the other ones, but I would like us, like, maybe next meeting, we could schedule some kind of review or utility board meeting with Ash, where if there's some goals that we think he should accomplish, he can have a plan.
Okay, so we do for Ash, we'll have to do for Pat too. Yeah, cause Pat reports to
Then we
us.
could do that too.
We did that a couple years ago.
we did,
And
we did one,
we
and
had a
then,
I mean, I came
You
into
and
Ash's
I-
office,
yeah,
but I don't think there's anything set in stone
Yes.
on how that process or what it looks like and when you talk about anything like that. So there is no.
Yes. Yeah, I can explain to them maybe because that's his first year here. Usually, council member, board members come to my office when it's the evaluation due and discuss it with me. That's what we've been doing. Mike has done that, the rest of the council has done that. You're more than welcome to come to my office and discuss your review to me.
But I mean, for us to have a plan too, as a board, I mean, this doesn't have to affect raises. We
Yeah.
could- but
Right,
we
right,
could-
right.
We could, at our meeting, have a process where we might set goals or things that we would like to see done for that position. And it would affect maybe next year's raise. But if
Yes.
we start that now, otherwise we're gonna be here next year and.
doing the same
Same
thing.
thing.
Yep.
Absolutely, and we can work on that.
So we could put that on next month's agenda, where maybe there are some things that we could set that we would like to see done in the next year. Can
Absolutely.
we do that?
Mhm.
Okay.
Now we'll go back to the raise.
Yes.
Okay,
for
thank
everybody.
you, thank you.
And I would recommend that we give 4% to the utility employees and the city employees because we consider that in the budget. And we're doing good financially, both sides, city and utility.
I think it's important that that's understood, that you had a good job putting that together for a long
Thank
time,
you.
because it's enough. So, you know, you can look at comparison on whatever you want, and our town's doing pretty well. With the state, you guys have a lot of problems with the state, no question. There's people idiots, and I don't vote it out. They got another year before it's gonna happen.
So I would love to ask the council member and board members to make a motion to approve what was included in the budget.
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Russell,
I'll second it.
Second, how do you vote? Russell,
Yes.
Dolly,
Yes.
Kavah,
Yep,
Okay, Sherman.
We didn't make a motion.
Oh, we gotta make a motion.
yeah,
Don't we have to make a motion?
yes.
yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
joint.
It's a joint, so,
Oh, okay.
They made a motion on the joint employees and regular city employees.
okay, Sherman, Horton, Crawford, Belden, AB no.
Okay,
So,
what? Go ahead,
I
Dave.
know.
is that something we could put on our agenda for our next meeting?
The
Yeah.
evaluation
Well, we can
process.
start for
Yeah.
something for next year.
Yes, absolutely.
We did have an evaluation form. It was a general form.
I'll tell you this, when I first started on the council, I went to a meeting put on by the Iowa League of Cities and talked to people that do annual evaluations on their city manager. And they sent me some of their forms. Be more than happy to get them to you.
Well, and even the forms is what matters, is if we have goals we wanna set, I mean, we just need to have that down on our electric forms.
Well, yeah, and this could give you an idea instead of reinventing the wheel. You know,
Well,
you can take a look at them and,
Then the forms plan before.
Sure, okay.
Is it like the
Sure.
19th or something?
Alright.
So what makes you happy?
If we could have a discussion next
In
month,
August?
'cause this is
Yeah.
something that, if we're gonna do that, this is something, setting goals,
I don't have my
it's something
phone.
where we would
5:30.
probably have to go in closed
Yeah.
session.
No, no,
That's
we can do
Not-
open
it'd be
session
a
in
pain.
anything, just tell us what
19th
you
is
need to make you
Okay,
happy.
I'll
Well,
check.
I think we ought to start
But
that
it's-
process of putting something together, so what about this? Here, he supports the council and the utility board, right? He supports the utility board. So, board chair, you, that's just suggestion. And two of you guys in form a committee that is, you know, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
I don't need it, I just wanna make
I think
everybody
if
happy.
you have goals that you wanna hit, form a work group and
Yeah,
bring back.
what kind of evaluation you want to have it?
Well, that's something that would be done at the end of the year then.
Yes, yes, I know, but,
We-
but what kind of process you want, because Kalba is trying to help,
Right.
giving you his experience with it. Because he's the one initiated this, did a good job, and got to the bottom of it.
Right, well, that's why I asked, was there a review? Who did you have your, who had you had your review with on the council or on
All the
Me.
councilmen,
Yeah.
Because we did, I don't know if you.
We
had
haven't.
before.
you-
We've
because
never done it.
You haven't established.
Well, I think we should, and just start the process of what we need, like, we should have goals that we want for him.
Well, for Pat and Ash.
Right, I didn't realize that,
Yeah, cause he's over,
okay.
he
We should have that too.
reports to us.
Yeah, we should start
He
that
does not
process
report to Ash.
if we need, because if we don't start it now, we
Right.
won't ever do it.
It'd be twofold. You'd have goals and what you would like to see done, and then you'd have an
Yeah,
evaluation,
if there's issues you need to,
and then you'd have an evaluation at the end and
right.
go over it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And at some point, once you put some kind of goals together, the third big meeting where I would call it a private discussion, though, when you discuss some of the goals, or if there's issues you're gonna be discussing with them, that need to be changed or something. But we, just start the process.
Absolutely, yes, we start the
Work out
process.
some goals, things we think both of them need to do.
Good. Would you be glad to put some goals so we
Yeah.
can look at it?
Yep.
Because
Goals
it
and
takes
concerns-
two.
Goals and concerns both, yeah.
It takes two.
Yep,
You know what I mean? You need to know what we do
yep,
and put goals to us.
right,
Of what would you like to do? What would you like us to do?
yep,
And we can try to meet that goal.
okay,
That briefly what I would like you to do.
right.
Good?
Yeah, I got a couple of things already.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I don't need cover. I need a list. I need a list.
Well, I'm sure other people have that too.
Yes, yes. So, no, don't think that I'm trying to put you down or anything. I just want you in a brief discussion to give me your expectation, because I can't give you your expectation to me.
Right.
You have to give it to me, and then we talk about evaluation.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. I know what you're trying to reach. I'm just trying to make it clear, so we don't go to the next meeting, don't know what we're talking about.
Right,
I want you to give me your expectation.
okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Next.
now, sports complex, Jim said some of this should just go
We're
to.
not doing
Skip.
headhunters.
The eight.
Oh, headhunter, oh, okay, yeah, I wanna do headhunter.
Okay, we talked about this the last time we were together. I'd like to make a motion to retain, what's her name?
Marquita.
In the event Pat needs to hire somebody. That's a simple motion.
Well, and we've got
What?
Chief Reha has
Fine.
position, I
Okay,
ju-
we're leaving that, that's up to you
yeah,
guys.
but I
Fine.
just talked to Sean, I said, you got an ad out front, and I was told it's just for drivers, and Sean said, no, I need a paramedic. The hours, how many hours is Dustin and Sean working a week? 80?
Oh,
80 plus?
we have a scanner and it goes off probably
go?
5.
Yeah,
This
Where'd
is
everybody
just
go?
here in
No, I
town.
mean, but where'd everybody go?
I mean, we had like a lot of paramedics up there.
But anyway,
I mean, they do 5 or
we,
6
we
calls
got
a
a few
day.
positions that need to be
I
filled.
know. Well,
Okay, you made a motion to
You know
hire
We keep talking about this gal that is the only one.
Marquita.
He struggled to hire somebody last time, so he should have a resource to call immediately. You to control the expense, so she doesn't, you know,
Okay.
charge for things that we're not asking for.
Yeah.
Okay, so you wanna hire Marquita for if we needed to hire
Needed.
new employee?
Correct.
If, okay. Moved by building,
Flag.
moved by building,
I'll second.
second by Kim.
Is this with you guys too?
Yeah, I
You
hope
wanna-
so.
You
Yeah.
wanna go
If
first?
we're
or-
gonna get everybody
You
to
wanna
vote.
make, somebody wanna make a motion?
I'll make that
They
motion
already
too.
did.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
for
I mean,
you
The
that's
I'm
motion
my-
already been
I
made.
thought we had
Just
already
vote.
done
Did we
It's
already
already
make
been
that?
made.
I thought we
Okay.
already did that on the city side.
Oh, we did
Didn't
say
we?
that,
We
Or am
hired,
I wrong?
we hired Palmer.
we had the Palmer,
But we gave them a timeline. If
We
we
gave
don't
'em a
have some
timeline.
of this, then we're going with.
And we went way over that timeline, so we gave them extra.
And-
But I
and
think
we
our
can
des-
have- we can have both,
Yeah.
we can have two.
Well, I think our desire was to have each entity have one person to go to that we contact,
Okay,
and that was Marquita. But I don't think we formalized it in a motion.
Yeah.
Could be.
But if we need a motion,
yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Do you need a motion?
Brian
So
already
is
made
this
it.
going to be all together?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
So
So
you
we'll hire
just do
Marquita
your
for
vote.
when, if we needed employees.
Okay, Sherman, Horton, Belden, Avy, yes.
Okay. Russell,
Yes.
Dolly,
Yes.
Kaba.
Yes.
And we did have 3 interviews for the street side, and we're
Yeah.
ready to pop.
Wastewater.
Wastewater, I mean, wastewater. So we're still missing the street side too. And so, depends on what we decide next week, we could possibly need rescue, police, and street.
Yeah, we will let the council know
Yeah.
next meeting
Most
what the
close.
result is.
Okay,
For
now,
what we've done.
no, 9, sports complex. I just had an email, Jim said Barb needs to be involved, but I emailed her back. And Jim and I and Barb have talked about this. He wants to possibly pave the road going into the complex and then south. And we've got $80,000 of the $150,000 left. But is the water fountain working? Okay, well, I don't know why they mentioned it wasn't. And the update on current playground, and Jim and I talked about that, a lot of that's grant money. And so it's gonna take that to get more equipment in those areas.
Okay.
And I got one other question though. We did all the raises and stuff.
Yeah.
How does the library get their raises?
They have their own board.
They have their own board.
Yes.
Yeah.
In order to get raises, I'll tell you this, we need actual money from the council in the budget. Yeah, because otherwise, if I don't get more money, what do I do?
The budget thing, if you don't get an increase in budget and you pay a raise, you have less operating budget.
Right, so make it fair for Jim's department and yours.
So when, I got a quick question though. Just approved 4%. Does that come out of Dave's budget and Jim's budget, the 4%?
It's got,
No?
I'm gonna explain one more.
Okay, I mean, people in town are saying we need transparency where the money's
Okay,
going.
we're in what, July?
Yeah,
And we started the budget when? Back in March.
yeah.
Did I know back then what the council was gonna decide? No,
No.
we decided in July. So what I do always, I take the amount that I consider in the budget and I add it to them when I amend the budget. I think Dave knows that very well. I've been saying that all along. I know it's hard, but I don't have any way of putting it at the beginning of the budget. I have to wait. But that doesn't count against their budget. No, their budget
Okay.
now has the current salary right now. But that add to that, the 4%, let's say $10,000 more. At the end of the year, I go amend it and add it.
Okay.
Without them even knowing that they went over budget or not. Have I told you you're going over budget this year? No, because I added,
Yeah.
yes.
I think what Nick's trying to explain is it doesn't show on the budgets that we get. So it's hard for us to account for that. My budget last year showed the same as the year before that, the year before that, the year
Yes.
before that. So what Jim's referring to, what Lisa's referring to, and I don't wanna put words in your guys' mouth, so I
Yes.
shouldn't say that, but right now, yes, the salaries will go up next, they'll show that we got a 4% raise and that'll be
Yes.
on our budget.
Yeah.
But none of our other issues, move, they all stay the same as they did last year or whatever, so we end up, our total budget stays the same. But our line items for salaries go up by 4%, but the rest of them don't, so what ends up happening is we have less to spend on paper. Now, what we get, so as a department head, we're looking at that going, I have less money to spend. What we're asking for, and I've been asking for years, is to give us that paper that shows the actual amount, so then it's not a question. And then it's not the public saying, oh, the police went over budget this year, Cause when they see those papers, they don't know that you and me have talked.
Yes.
They don't know that you've told me, oh, no, they're fine. They see that paper and go, well, clearly they've overspent. And then what that does is that puts pressure between department heads, because then department heads feel like, well, now we have to compete with each other for money that we don't even know.
Yeah.
So I guess my point is that it could be easily explained on paper and clarified so that we don't feel that way as department heads. And I don't wanna speak for them, I'm just speaking for myself.
No, I know, and I think you and I talked about it, and I showed you that, you know, we in the budget, and I didn't tell you when over the budget, because I added you. We're trying to find a different way of doing it, and I'm working with Chip, you know, to kinda, how can we simplify it for you? Because really sometimes hard, we are in July, we started the budget. By the way, I'm not going away from you. That raise we just gave, I will go retroactive, give it from July first,
Yeah.
Right.
okay?
But
All right.
my question is, why can't we amend the budget for that 4% now?
You can, it's just gonna cost money.
I mean, why wait till the end of the year to make that?
Because he's gonna, if I do it now, he's gonna come and try to put the $8 million, he just talked about it, in the next 2 months. So you will be amending the budget every month. We tried that before, people got confused, and they thought we're doing something wrong by amending the budget every month.
So you wait till the end of the fiscal year, right?
Yes, we wait until then, until May, and then all these, see, he's gonna refinance $8 million. This is not in the budget.
Is that what the 23 discussion was, this 23 reconciliation?
Exactly, yeah. Last year, he was asking the council, proposing to the council to refinance $8 million on the utility, $8 million on the city, and plus $3 million. So that added up to 19, 20 million. I had to amend the budget, and it didn't happen. So what can I do? So amending the budget every month, you will be amending the budget every month if you're gonna go with
I'm
these things.
just talking about just wages, just amend that part of the budget.
Actually, that's the easiest part, because we go to May and amend it, you know, but you can amend every month if you want, it's just gonna cost money.
You can't amend it once now to take care of the rest of this year, just for wages, not all this other stuff we're talking about, just add the 4% to the budgets now, instead of, and everything else, it's easy to say,
Yeah.
it's easy to understand.
Okay,
I'm not talking about all the other things.
but
we've been for.
what about the others?
If those make sense at the end of the year, do those at the end of the year. I mean, says he can understand the budget better that way, if he sees it now. That's what I'm hearing.
Because now he won't see any effect on the salary. By the time he sees his salary start to go over budget, it's in May. Because that raise that you just gave him is gonna spread out in 12 months. Am I making sense, Brian? You might help
All
me.
these discussions go back to the entire need, and we gotta get over this uncomfortability garbage, because these cameras that DeSoto has is bringing them $400,000. You just heard from all three of these people, and there's more, that there's costs. We have a substation, I mean, nobody likes how we're gonna try to get revenue, but you can either hit the same neighbor 100 times, or you grow your town with the substation, or you put up cameras. Like it or not, don't really care. That's the other, sorry, that's not great.
But
You amend it one time, why would you amend it more than once? Why would you do that? I'm sorry, that's just me.
That's what I'm trying to.
Have you done the budget this way for how long?
31 years.
So it's not something that you just started doing right now, right?
No.
What does your audit say? Does your audit say you should amend it more frequently, or does it say, I mean, I'm just saying, that's your control. That's your control that comes in your audit.
The other control is give raises at a different time of year, so they can be.
Because we asked for the raises since March, and keep doing it.
Yeah.
Well, I thought we should bring them too.
That you have really good idea, it's just sometimes, if we've been doing things this way for 31 years, what has changed?
Well, it's not working.
What
It's
is-
not working for me as a department head. It's not working. If you could show it at the beginning of, why not just amend it, and then I know spot on what I've got to spend for my staff. Instead of, well, if you add it in May, okay, I can't have a whole bunch of programs or hours
So why don't we do it different way and to really get you what you want? Why don't we work on the budget this year, discuss the wages and approve it? We're gonna work on it in November. Why don't we approve our next raise in November?
We can do that.
Let's do that, so we eliminate this.
That's my point. Then
Well,
it's-
I'm matching
No.
this.
I don't
Because-
understand, what does that get
What
you?
does that get you? That's- it's in the-
It's-
when they
How can you,
It's more fair.
how can you approve the wage in November when you wanna do, they haven't done their whole year for their evaluation?
We can have it then.
But that's not given the whole year, that's only given 2-3 months.
This is on the city side, so I don't
No,
understand.
it's
Why
a
do the
utility now,
utilities-
let's really discuss it, Brian, because
No.
we need to really understand it and try to fix it.
No,
I can see, okay, you want it to be clear, let's make it clear, let's talk in November, or December, or January about the raise, let's approve it so it can be in the budget.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yes, so we don't have to worry about
Are we
amending.
gonna amend the budget when Pat needs a truck, or equipment, or whatever? You can't amend the budget every month, let's see what the.
And that's what we're trying now to solve it here. So, Dan, would you be happy to discuss the wages while we discussing the budget, so you can, okay, great. So now we don't have to worry about amending anything. We get the budget, we get the raise, with the budget discussion approved. Whether you give or you don't, it will be included in the proposed budget. Good, let's do it.
If we have
So
to-
let's not worry about
If we have
now.
to do that in January.
I'm against it,
Oh,
I am.
okay, when we get to it, we can have yes or no.
Why are you against it? Cause it's assumed that's a percentage, or what?
Well, no, because that's not given enough time, okay, we just approved it here, okay, we're gonna approve it again in November. Okay, we do,
It's a one-time adjustment. The raise can still start. in
but,
July.
okay, so
Kim, I wanna clarify.
how do
Come
we
on here.
know, no, just a minute, how do we know, what if, okay, so for, and I'm just using you as an
Yes,
example.
yes, yes.
2 months he does an awesome job. The next 3 months after we say, okay, you're gonna get this, he slacks and he don't do his job. We've already given,
How do you, big part of how you do that is, in most companies, not everybody gets the same raise.
exactly,
The head office, they approve 4% for raises, and then how those are allocated are decided in people's reviews. So we could make that decision to increase wages by 4%, but that doesn't say we're giving Ash 4% and Sarah 4%. We're just approving the total amount. Does that make sense?
And
And
not to-
that's how other businesses do it.
Sure, not to cut anybody off, but the way I'm understanding is if you approve it at that point, then if someone doesn't do their job and you decide they don't deserve that raise,
Right.
next year, they don't get it.
Right.
So you're voting for this ahead of time. Like you guys did your union negotiations months ago, right?
cause we had to.
Sure. So why not do the negotiations with the other city?
Yeah, but
employees
doesn't,
8 months
with
ahead of time?
union though, doesn't it go from the day we did it to the, that's how their year is? Is that how it is with their union? Ju- oh, it's July from July?
So,
I'm just saying that we don't necessarily, we're not giving Pat his raise in January. What we're doing is we're allocating money in the budget.
yeah, which
in the
is,
budget.
and that's
So the
good,
money's
that
there.
will get
If we
that
don't give
thing.
him a raise, it just doesn't get spent.
Okay,
And
so
then it makes
then,
it easier for us because it's all, I'm not accusing him of doing anything wrong, it's just, it's hard for us. to
I know,
see.
I know.
and trust me, I know you and I talks a lot, and I know you understand all the stuff. I'm trying to find a way for the future, for the next.
in there.
The way I was looking at it was, you guys were wanting to okay it in November, so then when July came along, it's already done
They're not
taken
raising
care
their
of.
cost of living adjustments. You were hired for X. Cost of living goes up, you should
He's
maintain
just
X.
concerned about the wages.
That's
So
how it should
just
be.
have them, okay,
So
raises.
now
Okay.
I think it would be good, when we go to November, December and January, let's make sure to solve that issue,
Correct.
to approve the wages. Whether we give it or not, just approve it, and then you can change. That will make him kinda, more happier about it, because it's not a set stone. No, I can see her point, it's not a set stone, but it gave me
I'm
the,
talking about the big bucket.
yes,
not-
and it gave me the lead to show them, what it's gonna look. Maybe it won't be approved maybe it will be approved, but at least he got what he wants, him and the librarian here, yes, I agree with you. So, are you following us now? So we're gonna do it now in November, December, January, when we propose, we're gonna take the raise, we're gonna put it into the budget. So whatever he gonna get in the budget, they know what the expectation is, not what exactly they're gonna get.
See.
Does that fall in the
I'm
department?
sorry, to me, that you're singling one budget item out, you're not accounting for operating budgets in that plan, or, equipment, anything else, any of the other items you amend for projects, so
It-
you're, why
It
would
seems,
you?
it seems like that's the concern, if I'm hearing
Okay,
it
but
right.
my point is, why would you only plan a budget for one item versus planning for them all?
I never have,
And that's fine, I'm just saying. if
I
it's-
never have.
if
And
I've been
I'm not
doing it,
suggesting that either. I mean, if there's an expected expense that year that we're knowing we're gonna need, then obviously we would
yeah,
request that. in
we
our
just
budget.
bought a car, you know,
That's what I'm
in the
saying.
middle of
So,
the budget,
was
and
that-
I
was that
amended.
a budget? So, that's part of the budgeting process, you set a budget, and then after you ratify the budget, you try to, this is what we
I'm-
spend at the end of the year,
Yes,
and you stay within that, right? But if you
I'm
modify
trying
that
to
month
take
by-
it one step at a time, Brian,
How
to
often
get,
do you set your tax rates?
how often once?
How often do you set, and how often do you set your utility rates? One time a year,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
Or water rates, both.
Yes,
Okay, so why would you modify your budget more than one time? I'm just.
I
it doesn't make
haven't,
sense.
I haven't had that done before.
It's not saying it's wrong,
I am
it's just
trying
saying-
to accommodate the need.
Put it in the budget to
I,
start.
I have
We're
a,
not asking for it to
I'm
be
not saying
modified
that's-
twice, we're asking for it to start off with the budget increase, or with the salary increases included.
But if
If it
you're
needs
gonna
to
do
be
that for
amended
salaries,
later.
it should be everything planned throughout the year.
I
That's
wouldn't
my
be
point.
opposed to that.
That's
I
what I'm
wouldn't be
saying.
opposed to
Why
that.
plan for one thing if, it's like a house, you're not gonna plan for, if you need two cars, you're not gonna put one in your plan,
I agree.
that's all.
You don't always know if you're gonna need another car.
Sure, the unknowns.
But we always know that we're gonna talk about raises every single year, so why not get it in the budget?
so, okay,
Okay,
with that, I'm gonna use EMS for an example.
Correct.
Or we could use the cops, cause,
Go ahead.
let's say we have 4 officers, and we propose a 4% budget, or not budget, just salary increase, right? And then would it fall on the department head to divvy out that?
It could be done that way. It's
It
done
could.
that way, not-
Right, okay.
Yes.
What if we do that increase at 4% and we only have 3 officers employed, but we want 5? So how do you get that number to,
That's a different process, now you're adding an employee, that's different than just, the employees you have today, that's who you're talking about, your budgeting raises for. If you're talking about a new employee, that's a whole different budget item, 'cause you're
There
adding.
should be plans for that, right? That should be in the budget.
that
yeah,
should be
I'm just thinking that's gonna have to be,
Correct.
That's what it comes, the amendment.
EMS has, if they're understaffed right now, their 4% increase with what we're paying is gonna be way, 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 way low. Cause if we hire in multiple people, how do they divvy that out? Cause there's gonna be a big time lapse
And it's
between when
happening
we,
with the police now.
approve that till when it goes into effect.
Well, if they hire somebody in January, are you gonna give that person their first raise in 6 months?
Yeah,
It's probably not gonna be 4% if you do.
right. I'm just saying, I don't know if there's gonna be some like wrinkles in that we're gonna have to think about.
I mean, to be honest, just from the police side, a lot of departments, it's like a step. So if you just set the standard rate, this is what a certified officer makes. Every year, if that goes up 4%, that same rate goes up 4%. So if we hire 8 officers next year, we're hiring them at that rate because that's the rate we set in stone. Now, obviously, I'm not suggesting we do that, but the problem that we ran into in years in the past were, say we were approved for 4 officers, but we only had 3. And then the council voted for the 3 to be a 4% raise. Well, then we hire a 4th a year later, and now he's back here.
Right.
Because the salaries didn't move. Even though that position was vacant, it should have moved, the salary should have been increased with it. So for future.
Or the opposite, if you put a 4% raise and you have this amount of money for salaries, but you drop one person,
Sure.
now do you have that, let's say you go from 3 to 2, are you divvying out that instead of, on the department head saying, oh, I'm gonna do 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, now I'm gonna give half of it and half of it, and you're gonna get a bigger
Well, if
raise.
you put that on the department head, that would be up to them, but not necessarily, you may not just spend it, probably just not gonna spend it.
Yeah, I like the idea of
Because if he
the
loses-
evaluations and divvying out how the department head
Well,
sees
if he
fit.
loses an officer, he doesn't just automatically get that wages that are
Right,
Yeah, I wanna
I just didn't know
add
what that
one
would look
thing.
like.
I wanna add one thing is, that there is no way in the world that you're gonna have a budget, and as soon as you start, things change,
Right.
you know,
I'm
because
just saying,
we have a budget of 4 officers, and now we're gonna hire a 5th officer.
Right.
What do you want me to do? Amend the budget?
I'm just saying, there's certain things we can plan for. We know we're gonna happen every year.
It,
We
that's,
can make that decision.
so
Wait.
what we do is,
I won't go
we
there.
wait to see what the impact is in order for us to make the right amendment. Obviously, at the beginning of the budget, there won't be a big impact. It will always show at the end of the budget where the impact on that happened. We bought in the middle of a budget, we bought a brand new car. What do you want me to do? Stop the process? No, we make it go, and then we go amend the budget based on where they at from the budget. It's a process we use all the time, but in regard to the salary, I am willing to make that request or wish happening in the next fiscal year, because we're gonna start in November. So in November, I'm just asking, begging that, please help me
No, I'm
decide on what the raise is gonna be. It doesn't have to be exact, but give me the idea. If I go and say 4%, tell me no, it's 1%. And we make a motion that what I put in the budget is 1%. Because if I put in the budget 1% and he sees it, I don't want him to come and argue with me that he got 2%. No, I already got that from the council, 1%. He gave you more, don't be sad. I'm sure he's not gonna be sad, but I'm just trying to be funny, to lighten up a little bit. It doesn't have to be tense. Just help me out when we discuss the budget. Tell me what your opinion is about the raise, so I can put it and give it to them July 1st. Hey, that's what they agreed on.
I think if you, it's just my own opinion, I think if you make a change like that, you're gonna end up making a change for other things and modifying your budget on a more frequent basis, and it's just, that's just me. I don't know why you wouldn't modify it with a full plan of what you plan to expend for the year. You put a, you know, do the substation, and just like we're talking about, that's what that 23, you base that off of CHIP, right? And you waited until that time to
Yes,
modify.
he gave me
Right.
19, 20 million. I have to vote it, and amending the budget, and it didn't happen. The mayor came upset, how can I amend the budget with 20 million? I was like, what do you want me to do? If the guy proposed that he gonna spend 20 million refinance, I have to get it in the amending budget. I got it, it didn't happen.
No, I'm just saying, if we gotta have that discussion in January about raises, let's do it in January.
Please, that's my request. See, we're meeting halfway. I know you mean well,
That's all I'm saying.
but I want you to know that I mean well too, because I am the one who has to do all these things, and has to make everybody happy. So we're good now, you see, we're good. She's not looking at me when she looks at, we're good now on,
So,
Hers is
we, does that mean you amend the budget in May?
May, you'll be for me anytime, when I come to the point.
We want it amended in July. We wanna know.
No, the deadline is May. There is a deadline,
For your what, your amendments?
yeah. So we have to, it has to be before May.
So there's no way we can get it,
He has to amend it in
he has to amend it, and then we can get it, but that's for this current fiscal year. It's not for the future fiscal year.
The future now is gonna be much easier, as Dan and I agree.
That's for raises.
Yes,
That
for raises.
doesn't affect, yours is different, because your raises comes out of it from a different board.
Yeah,
But I still have to
absolutely,
amend my-
absolutely.
But they should have a plan for you.
Yes,
And
and
to
the
Brian's
usual.
point, I mean, if we're having this discussion in November, like I think was brought up, then, you know, we can put as much on that as we possibly can before it's approved. I agree with that 100%.
But all I'm
That's how it
saying
should be.
is it shouldn't be that just for the police department, it's gotta be that way across the board.
And I do it for
don't know
everybody, yeah.
The earlier we meet on those issues and get all that in there, I don't wanna be bothering you guys halfway through the year. I'd rather it be at the beginning.
Good. So you're good now, we got that,
Everybody's
say,
excited about stoplight
you're
cameras.
good now?
Yep.
Say it before we leave, I am assuming we're good. All right,